antisocial personality disorder. I thought it meant that you didn't like to socialize, you didn't like being around people, but it's far from that. Antisocial personality disorder is defined as a pervasive pattern of disregard for the violation or the rights of others. There's no specific treatment for antisocial personality, as most people with it don't see that they have a problem.
It's pretty antisocial. Welcome to the podcast, keeping low cows underneath the magnifying glass. They dissect them in the internet's a science lab, dropping facts on you and the evidence is ironclad. Crazy, half of them are brain dead. It's hard to look away because everybody loves a train wreck. Haley, Jackie, Sherlock, Watson, exposing egos of those imposed without a conscience. It's online, it's fair game, bro. That's how the game goes. Gotta be insane to treat the web like it's a safe zone. We laughed at Aaron becoming a butt of gay jokes. Now we know he's taking more than Nick Rekieta's caseload. The shit you find, click around at midnight. It's time to take a deep dive into the sick mind. From lawyers to doctors to people going postal. We're glad to hear pretty antisocial. It's pretty antisocial. Open up the mind. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. The world of the internet is crazy sometimes. So watch what you're doing when you do it online. It's pretty antisocial. Open up the mind. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. The world of the internet is crazy sometimes. So watch what you're doing when you do it online. It's pretty antisocial. Social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial. Social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial. Social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial. Social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday for you, but not for us.
Yes, and it's a huge Wednesday.
It is a huge Wednesday. There are going to be some things happening, and we're not going to be able to hear until later. So we've got Patrick going in for his HRO hearing with Mr. Aaron Imholte. And then right after, Nick Rekieta is going in too. So it'll be interesting to see the outcomes of it. I think everybody's kind of on the same page of them being dismissed. But we don't know what's going to happen after that.
Yeah, we'll see. That's what, exactly. It's that part. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, their hearings are 30 minutes apart. Patrick going first. Both of them are represented by Francis White. So I don't know.
And as of right now, like, we don't know if Aaron's attorney is going to be his attorney for Patrick's case too, or if it's just for Nick's.
I think that's right. I caught a clip last night, and they were going over those documents. And at the time of that recording, he was only represented, or on Patrick's, right, or on Nick's.
I thought it was on Nick's, and it was like
but not Patrick's.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm sure surely, right? He's going to go ahead and just be like, oh, also pick this up. Well, I don't know why he would try to fight without any representation on one. But
I don't know, because it wouldn't make sense for him to just have him on Nick's case when Patrick's hearing is the first.
Yeah,
one.
I agree.
So what's his defense going to be against Patrick's case? Is his lawyer just going to sit there and just like wait?
I don't know, but there may be I don't know that that's great strategy. I don't know if that's something that they can switch around with, putting Nick's case first, then Patrick's, but I don't think that's a great strategy to have Patrick going first. But then I'm not a lawyer, so.
Right. Well,
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's just scheduling wise. It's just how it happened.
Guess so.
But anyway, for those who are watching today, we are not live. Sorry, we're not live. It's my fault. I'm on vacation.
Yep.
I'm in Florida.
I'm in the chat.
Sun.
I'll be in the live chat.
I'll be in and out of the chat. But if you don't see me, that's why. But so for you guys today, we actually have a special guest. We are very excited to be talking to this person, and we're going to get their insight and their thoughts on both of these HROs and more, I guess. Yeah. So welcome to the stage, Mr. Luigi Greenberg.
Hi.
Hey. He has a spotlight. I want a spotlight that comes on when I come.
It's cool.
On.
It's in my hand. You see it?
That's nice.
That's awesome. Super cool.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm glad that we finally were able to kind of like meet up and and do this, because I know we've been talking back and forth for a while about doing something. So, well, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
And tell everybody like who you are,
Sure.
what your channel is, and like what kind of topics and different things you like to discuss and explore on your channel.
All right. I am Luigi Greenberg. I guess you could just call me a little bit of a personality or something. I don't know. I'm a guy who just makes pop-up appearances on a lot of places. I have my YouTube channel. It's at Luigi Greenberg. I have my show, Skeptical Robot, which is a show based on logic and reason, where we expose con men, frauds, liars, and debunk the paranormal. And I host that show with Gummy Chainsaw and Corndiff, if you guys know Corndiff. Save Corndiff for last because he's like the biggest star. He's way bigger than all of us. And
you don't want his husk to get
yes, he's awesome. They're all awesome. I also am a co-host on Hack Right Studios channel. We do Unboxing Eric on Sundays and Unboxing Riley Martin and Unboxing Bigfoot It Is on Thursdays. We interchange those out. For the Howard Stern fans, those names will sound familiar. But yes, I am an attorney. And I've given my legal opinions on a couple of shows. I've been on, excuse me, I've been on Tukey Soup. I've also been on the Shuli Network. I forget which show it was that I was on. But yes, I've served my role as lawyer on a couple of Dabbleverse shows. And I was telling you guys backstage that I'm a little late to the game. With Aaron Imholte. However, from a legal standpoint, I have been sucked in recently. Pretty fascinating.
It definitely is. It's ongoing. It just never ends.
But you know what? I think that's good to have sort of a fresh take on somebody that's not like intimately involved and hasn't been like watching every, the last year or so that's been going on with Aaron's life. I think that's great. And I hope that, we get some good insight into some of this stuff, because we are not attorneys and we don't know how a lot of this stuff goes down, but we are watching.
Yes. And speaking of, how long have you been an attorney, and what kind of area of law do you practice?
I've been an attorney for 11 years. I think that number's right. I tell people I'm 17 years old. I understand the math doesn't add up. Yes, 11. Okay, I'm sitting here thinking about it. But to be perfectly fair and transparent, this is not criminal law is not my area of expertise. However, I did have to dabble in it a little bit to pay my dues as a junior lawyer. I know enough, and I know I know the elements of everything, and I understand enough to make my way through it. But my area of expertise is business and corporate law. Probably the best way to describe it. It's really kind of a unique niche, and it'll bore you if I get into it.
Gotcha. Well, you said you'd like dabbled into the criminal part. So what actually got you into the Dabbleverse and interested into the Dabbleverse?
Yeah, I was a very loyal Howard Stern fan for a long time. Gave up on the show a few years back, and one day was scrolling through YouTube, and Who Are These Podcasts showed up in my news feed when they reviewed John's book, and I just couldn't resist it. I mean, just looking at it made me start cracking up laughing. I was like, that dude wrote a book? And that literally was the beginning of like my life changing. I got into it. I was listening to it. I became a real loyal follower of Who Are These Podcasts. That brought me into the gravitational pull of Cardiff and Tukey. And then Shuli started Uncle Rico. I became just completely enthralled with all of it and all the nonsense. And for the Tukey Cardiff followers out there, I have helped Tukey on a couple of legal assignments that I don't know. I don't really talk about too often on my shows, but I have talked about them on Tukey's show. So, yep, there you have it. And then after that, had no intention of starting my own channel or anything like that. And just the way things panned out, I was like, I have some stories to tell. I want to talk a little bit about things that interest me. And here we are. And now I do Skeptical Robot. And I started with Unboxing Eric with Hack Ride. And they were great mentors. And they pushed me out of the nest and said, go try something on your own. And here I am.
Well, we love Gummy and Corn Diff. Think very highly of both of them. They are great, great human beings. So you're in good company for sure.
They are awesome. We love them. They are great.
Agreed.
It's really funny how life works out sometimes, just like little encounters and then this.
Yeah,
so
that's
wild.
exactly it. And I am married, and it was really funny about, I guess, a couple minutes into my little journey of entertainment and then me getting involved. It didn't take long. I got involved, and really at one point my wife just saying, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, let me start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm done with, I'm okay with you not telling me this.
That's what's funny. I think we all sort of go through that. And that's like with the little posters. It was a joke. It was a long running joke, but a joke that happened. And I sent her one poster, and then it ended up being 2 and then 3. And I keep asking, I'm like, what does your husband think of this? Like, is he tripping?
Yeah.
With mine, he knows because he hears me speaking about different things, whether I'm talking to her, like he knows some of the key players, and he'll catch me watching stuff every now and again. But otherwise, they don't have anything to do with this mess. They don't follow it.
It's so hard to explain it.
Yeah,
that is the hardest part. And we've made jokes about it. My wife and I, where I'm just like, I don't know where to start. And she's like, that's fine. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, but then there's plenty of times where I'm watching YouTube, like on a TV, and she'll walk in and just ask, what's going on here? And I'm like, do you really want to know? She's like, this time I do. She gets sucked in. And then this is not a joke, not a joke. I know it's going to sound ridiculous. We were at a funeral last year. And at some point, a conversation my wife was having with a family member about the Dabbleverse, and she's like, Luigi does this stuff and does this thing. It's this weird world of the Howard Stern show, and blah, blah. And she looks over at me and goes, "You explain it." And I was like, "No,
you don't have enough time."
I was like, "I'm not doing that," and I could already see the look on her relative's face, like, what?
It is like that. I was talking to some friends at the gym the other day because I had headphones in because I was listening to Haley on this little piggy. And they're like, "Oh, what do you listen to?" I said, "My friend's on a podcast." And they're like, "What's it about?" And I was like,
a guy.
How much time do we have?
Yeah. Where would you even start?
Yeah. And so then it got into like what we do, and I was like, it's a mess. It's a mess.
We just do a show.
Yeah, we just do a show.
You'd have to watch.
Yeah. I had dinner last weekend with some old friends that I had not talked to in a very long time, and my wife brought up, does this show? And what's the show about? And I was like, or no, the question was, I explaining my show is pretty easy, but they're like, how'd you get started?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have this conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's really, because this whole area of the internet is a lot different. I mean, and other creators are, I do, law and crime, or, I follow XYZ reality show. And this is like, how much time do you have? I have to have an outline, like string, back, forth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is actually a funny part to add to that story, which is it was already a complicated story, about how this world exists and everything. And now I'm like, oh wait, now we're adding characters onto this for me anyway. I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Now there's more interesting stories that are out there. Anyway.
And speaking of these interesting stories, how did you become familiar with this Rekieta Imholte saga?
Well, I couldn't tell you where it got on my radar the first time, but I feel like it's inescapable if you're part of the Dabbleverse. You know, it's just always there. However, I do feel the need to say I'm new to this because I wasn't that interested in him as, I guess what we call him, a lolcow. You know, I wasn't because he just seemed like a dork.
I mean, look at that face.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously somebody who got, you know, probably bullied in high school and had some issues that he felt that he needed to, you know, compensate for. But I just, even hearing him to laugh at him didn't interest me because I was like, he's just not that interesting, and he's not even that funny to laugh at in an ironic way.
Yeah.
And the piling on made me feel bad because I was like, he looks like a defenseless child. Let's just say that, you know? But at the same time, I couldn't escape it. So I was hearing, you know, what was going on in his life and also hearing clips of him. And then I actually kind of got creeped out by him because nothing he ever says sounds like it has any credibility or sincerity to it. Like I was saying, if you asked him the time or the weather, it still sounds like he's lying about it. It just sounds. How did I say it earlier? I said he sounds like a lizard in a human costume saying this is how humans would answer.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so true.
And I was like, this. I didn't like it. But when I will say that when it really kind of made an impact on me. As far as interest, was that infamous clip of his ex-wife saying that she doesn't always have an orgasm when they have sex. And it was just so funny. I laughed to myself thinking, wow, that's not going to last long if they are working together on a radio show.
Right.
And turns out it didn't. And so then I'll admit I started to get a little interested because I was like, wow, who would say such a thing on a radio show with your husband there? And I was like, that was mean and weird. And I was like, she fucking hates him. and then it turned out it's like, oh, wait. So that's what got me involved, was kind of having these preconceived notions and then seeing them play out according to what I thought already, you know, if that makes any sense.
It does.
And then it just exploded and exploded and exploded. And I'll admit that I lost interest again. But then when the law got involved, I was like, let's see what's going on over here in this corner. Yeah. And so now here I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a question real quick before you move on. Had you been familiar with Nick Rekieta, or the fact that he and, you know, this other couple, the Imholtes, had sort of like, look, we all thought maybe something was going on if you were paying any attention to it. But at base level, did you know of Nick Rekieta before this saga happened with Aaron, or watch any of his LawTube stuff or any of that with Kyle Rittenhouse and all that?
I hadn't, and I was not familiar with it. And to be perfectly fair, I do not like watching LawTube stuff because it's basically like you know, someone who makes hamburgers for a living going home and wanting to cook hamburgers.
I get it, right? For sure, I get that.
Yeah, and so I don't like any of that stuff, and so I avoid it. But the name Nick Rekieta never got on my radar until the news with Aaron. And so I've done my research and I've looked into it, and, you know, I've seen what he did and what he accomplished on YouTube and everything. So I've become a little bit familiar with it since then, but beforehand, no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, now, everything that between the arrests, we call it the revenge porn case and stuff, you know, we know it's like the dissemination of non-consensual sexual images is just too long. It's just too long. Revenge porn. Case.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing with like that violation happen. And now Aaron has come out and filed harassment restraining orders against Nick Rekieta as well as Patrick Melton. And we're going to be going over those today, just like a lot of like different points that were made in there. I just wanted to get your opinion on that. But before we did that, from like what you've heard or seen so far with all this, what has stood out to you when it comes to these filings?
How stupid Aaron is. Yeah.
All right.
We'll get into it because I've got a lot to say, and some of it may be relevant, some of it may not be.
Okay.
But I think it can all be summarized with Aaron doesn't know what the fuck he is doing, and he's also making a lot of really bad mistakes. And also, I believe in pointing out how stupid he is, I think it's very important to discuss how there is a template for this exact scenario that has already played out for all of us that I'm really kind of surprised hasn't been getting referenced enough. And it doesn't look good for Aaron. So if we can get in, if you want to get into it right now, I'm happy to.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Do it.
What I'm talking about specifically is the Butch Bradley versus Patrick Melton case.
Yes.
How is this not getting referenced constantly?
I've heard it maybe twice at all for this entire, since the HROs dropped. I think I've heard two different people bring it up, and that's it. And it was sort of in passing. Yeah.
I don't get it. And to be fair, I can see Patrick not wanting it to get a lot of attention so that he can keep it in his back pocket. And since this is airing on the day of, I don't mind talking about it now.
Sure.
Which is fine, but I am still surprised that other people aren't bringing it up. This has played out already before us, in front of us. Now, granted, it's not the same jurisdiction. Granted, it's not the same exact law, but it is a lot of the same exact scenarios in which someone has filed an HRO. And for your audience who may not be familiar with the situation, a couple of years ago, there was a comedian named Butch Bradley who filed a harassment restraining order against Patrick Melton because Patrick, man, that's a long, complicated story too. But basically, it's over $1,200 that was owed to Patrick Melton that this guy never paid from 15 years earlier.
Yes.
And Patrick did a lot of stuff of talking about Butch Bradley publicly on forums, on social media, and redirecting some of his websites, buying up websites. He did a lot more than he's ever done to Aaron over the course of 15 years. And this guy, Butch Bradley, files a restraining order. Long story short, shows up with nothing more than his testimony that he doesn't like being talked about. That's all he had. At one point, he tries to play something for the judge, and it turns out he wasn't prepared, showed up empty-handed, and at one point, the judge has to tell Patrick to stop laughing.
I know.
Oh my God.
I've never seen this. I'll send it to you when we get done with this.
I have no idea about this.
It is so funny. I mean, and that is where actually, I remember Shuli, I was listening to Shuli, and Shuli mentioning that on his show, just saying, look, this is a 5-hour, I think it was 5-hour podcast episode, but it's worth every second. Yeah. And I listened to it, and I was laughing so hard. I sent it to people who knew nothing of the Dabbleverse world, and they were telling me it was the funniest thing they'd ever listened to. It is so fucking funny. But Patrick got the actual video and audio from the court hearing and plays it.
Yep.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, step by step, this is what Aaron is doing. And he's setting himself up for failure. Bad failure. Maybe even failure twice in the same day.
Right.
And
oh my God.
I just don't get why people aren't talking about that. But anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry to derail.
It's a good point. Like I said, I've heard it a couple times in passing. If you haven't seen it, it is worth watching. It's the little clip that he plays sometimes, and what's the obsession? And it's like a woman judge that will flicker on the, anyway, that's from that hearing. She turns and is asking like, what's the big deal? But
so yeah, if you don't know it, Patrick did a stand-up act and was promised $1,200 from this guy who ran the club and never got it. And so Patrick just started on social media bombarding him with, hey, where's my $1,200 over years. And then started telling other comics, hey, that guy owes me $1,200, never paid me. 15 years goes by where Patrick apparently was still like setting up websites and saying, all kinds of stuff. And okay, so, I mean, so much more than he's ever done to Aaron. The guy,
God.
Butch Bradley's girlfriend has a website. Yes. And he bought the domain name and redirected it to Butch Bradley doesn't pay comedians or something like that. I mean, he did so much. And the judge was like, well, you owe him $1,200. Right. He has every right to be mad and, to point it out. And the guy just literally kept saying, well, I don't like him talking about me. And the judge was like, he's allowed to talk about you. So yeah, just so many very, very similar, synonymous elements to this case with this Aaron stuff. Aaron has presented no evidence in that application to suggest that there is any behavior that rises to the level of the legal definition of harassment in Minnesota. And I actually have the legal definition of harassment here in front of me from womenslaw.org.
Okay.
Which is what Aaron is basing his harassment on. You can find it on a website to help empower women.
Okay, all right.
Just ironic for Aaron.
Yeah,
and it says that for Minnesota, you either have to have a single incident of a physical assault.
Mm-hmm.
Never happened.
Right.
A sexual assault. Meh. Jury's out. Using another person's personal information without consent. That goes on to do other things, but no, none of that's happened. We can stop that now. It's a moot point.
Yeah.
Or here's what's funny. Non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I think is going through Aaron's head. Complete speculation. I'll make it clear. This is what I think.
Okay.
I believe that because of the fact that he's on the hot seat for non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images, in a very hastily, emotional, angry moment, he filed this HRO to try to punish them for laughing at the images that they played at DabbleCon. Mm-hmm. Or what was it? Hackamania. Sorry, Hackamania. Because of the fact that he was simply shirtless in a bed.
Right.
Now, this is only one of many reasons I think that he filed this HRO. I think it's pretty safe to say it was hastily emotional, done without any forethought or legal analysis. But I think that's one of the reasons. But then also, that's only one thing that you can file it on. So that's a single incident of that, or repeated incidents, which means, of course, just clarifying this, more than one incident of intrusive or unwanted acts, words, or gestures that have a significant negative impact on your safety, security, or privacy. None of those things have happened, let alone repeated incidents.
Right.
So we have not satisfied one single incident of this, nor repeated incidents. So, Aaron is stupid.
Yeah. Well, and the worst part I think about it is I don't think he thought that Nick or Melton would have responded as quickly as they did for wanting a hearing, because he only had a small window of time to actually take back those filings, because it's my understanding in Minnesota law that a petitioner can revoke their petition only if the respondent hasn't responded yet to that petition, whether or not they were going to like not say, okay, that's fine, or if they had requested a hearing. So he had a small window of time where he could actually revoke his petition only if Nick and Melton didn't say, hey, we wanted a court hearing.
Okay, that's
So now-
interesting. I don't.
Yes.
I see now. Yeah, I'm. This isn't my jurisdiction, so I'm not sure. But that's not the same rule everywhere.
Sure.
A lot of them are just easily. You can just withdraw them. Sometimes you have to get judicial consent. But that's kind of a formality to make sure that you're not withdrawing it under duress. Like that the person you're saying is harassing you harassed you to withdraw it.
Right.
But if there's a response and then you can't withdraw it. Okay, so here's my question though. If that's the case, oh well, no. I guess it doesn't make sense. I was going to say, why did he reach out for the settlement? But no, that's still allowed. It would just be something you discuss at the hearing. That's a weird one. So, yep, Aaron might have painted himself into a corner with this one.
Yeah.
That is funny. I don't see this going well. I don't see this going well for Aaron.
No.
And it's interesting that even non-legal minds are saying that, and the legal minds are saying it.
Yeah.
There's really. Here's where my mind goes. I guess I'm getting kind of flustered here thinking because there's so much I want to say, but it's like he doesn't satisfy any of these legal definitions to satisfy it. So we just think to ourselves, along the way, good luck.
Right.
He's screwed, and let's see what he argues. But then this week he has compounded the absurdity of it with the witness list.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I'm thinking, what are they going to say?
Yeah.
And so it looks worse than it did like a few days ago. I don't know what he's thinking. It's weird.
It was like, well, we had done a show a while back, like 2 weeks back at this point, on narcissistic injury and how it kind of applies a little bit to Aaron, and the way and how fast these HROs came out. Well, Nick's came out after what happened to him at his it was supposed to be his sentencing hearing for the revenge porn case, but he ended up getting booked again. And the next day, the HRO against Nick being filed, it was like like you were saying, it was like he almost filled it out in a blind rage. Like, I need to get them because I need to be the victim still.
So
he needs to win. That's why I look at it. He can't lose. So
I left out this part. There's another part of this definition of harassment in Minnesota that I really feel is the nail in the coffin.
Okay.
So underneath that repeated incidents element, so we had the single incident, of a physical altercation. Let's just call it that. A physical presence, whatever you want to call it. Interaction, a physical interaction. But then repeated incidents of, we said, intrusive, unwanted acts, words, gestures to have negative effect on safety, security, or privacy. Now, we all know that for Patrick, the only physical contact that Patrick has ever had with Aaron was showing up to the court hearing, in which he did not actually have an interaction with Aaron. He was there in the audience. Okay. So to rise to the level of actually being harassment in the state of Minnesota, there has to be repeated incidents of intrusive, unwanted acts, words, to have significant negative impact, negative effect. That's not just negative effect, a significant negative effect on your safety, security, or privacy. Can include a pattern of attending public events after being notified that your presence at the event is harassing to another. So that means that in one single incident of showing up to a public hearing, not being told that your presence is harassing does not qualify. Specifically, it is directly outlined that attending one public event is not harassment.
Sure. Fair enough.
And not to mention, there's also video out there the day before his hearing of Aaron being like, oh, if Melton wants to come, he's more than welcome to.
And that is a totally different conversation to have. And honestly, you know, I'm certain that Patrick and Nick have very good representation, and I'm sure that they have all of those things. But even if it gets there, this should be thrown out because of the fact that none of this rises to the level of harassment. And if that is the only thing that Aaron's going to hang his hat on as being harassing, well, the law actually directly, specifically outlines that one incident of attending a public hearing is not harassment. It has to be multiple, and it has to be after being told that it is harassing. And it doesn't rise to that. It's very clearly not going to meet that definition. And then, even though we've already won the argument that it's not harassing, let's throw this on top. He was invited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the stuff that I actually didn't even know about that got talked about on This Little Piggy yesterday of Aaron threatening Nick Rekieta. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well for him.
No.
At all.
No, it's not. But let's go through, because there's just so much.
There is so much, so many layers.
I know, in this whole thing. And just kind of wanted to go through a few of these different lines. So this is the actual filing for Aaron's harassment restraining order against Nick Rekieta.
Okay.
And it was filed on the 26th, which was the day after his Aaron's sentencing hearing that didn't go the way in which he wanted it to go.
No. He said that it was just going to be some paperwork and that his lawyer talked to the judge. That's what I heard.
It'd be 15 minutes in and out, in and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
God, what a fucking moron.
Well, in the paperwork, it starts with respondent. I have my little fingers be like, this is where it starts.
I love it.
Yeah. So respondent made harassing phone calls and sent harassing text messages to the victim as follows. It just has the date on there, which is the April 11th. This is something that Aaron had talked about before with Nick saying that he basically told Aaron to off himself and then Aaron blocked him. But that's the only thing that he has on there for that.
It's not even a range. It says date range, and he's just like, on this day.
Yeah.
Now, notice also, it's so obvious, and it's funny that I got, like I said earlier, I got in this a little bit late, but I didn't realize he had filed these without a lawyer. I remember reading this and being like, what the hell? Like, what lawyer would have done this? Now, let me tell you why this is bad. I shouldn't say bad. Let's just say not well thought out. Ill-advised is that he says respondent made harassing phone calls. We have not yet determined that the acts have risen to the level of harassment. He's drawing a conclusion that it's basically saying, hey, you're on trial for murder, and someone comes up and says, well, this guy murdered somebody. No. You have to follow the rule of the law and satisfy all of the elements till you arrive at that term, harassment or murder, So it's like saying burglary, Burglary involves breaking into a house. It means trying to steal something. It means, all these different elements. You can't just say, that guy burglarized me. you right. In front of a judge, I'm saying. In front of a judge, you can't make those kinds of conclusions. The judge is now going to say, you said harassing. Now explain yourself how his behavior rose to the level of being harassing.
Right.
Now, that means that that's going to have to come into the record and say this. Okay, but now as we've established, the legal definition means repeated incidents
Right.
of intrusive or unwanted acts that have a significant negative effect on your safety, security, or privacy. Now, this fails on so many reasons. One, it's not a repeated incident. It is one.
Right.
Next, also, we have no idea what he said, but if in fact he did say off yourself, does that make you question the effect it has on your safety, security, or privacy?
Right.
Now, now one thing is that we could hear Aaron say it did,
Right.
but that's not the criteria. That's not
Right.
the metric that we're actually judging it on. The judge is going to say, would a reasonable person believe that their safety, security, or privacy was impacted?
Because
Now-
it's not just up to the subjectivity. There has to be some type of, because in some instances like that, to justify that your safety, security, or privacy was impacted in any way, you could show different things, whether it be income, it could be therapy, it could be different types of things, or like, I guess, impact statements from other people around you saying, yeah, their attitude or their, I don't know, the way in which they interact with people have changed since incident
Yeah.
ABCD occurred.
Exactly. And that's my point, is saying Aaron's going to probably play a victim and say, I felt,
Yes.
worried about my safety, security, or privacy, but that's not the criteria. The judge
Right.
has to say, all right, well, you did, but that doesn't mean we read your mind. That doesn't mean we intended to, intended for you to have that feeling. So I have to judge whether in a group of people, what is the percentage rate that all of these people would say that those actions made me feel that there was some sort of negative effect on my safety, security, or privacy. And I just don't see how this rises to the level of it. Now, again, it fails on the repeated incidents element. I also
Right.
think this fails on that because it's not Nick saying, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
That is a entirely different statement that might make someone feel a little worried about their safety. He's
Sure.
saying,
Right.
dude, go kill yourself. And
Right.
believe me, if you scroll through any social media feed, you're going to see that more than once in a short amount of time.
Yeah, for sure. And he says he has written as some type of description, like he said, that he had a message on the app Signal telling me to kill myself because I refused to come over to his house to continue swinging whatever was waited out there with him.
Is
Because
that
I repeat, the reason why he wrote this text message is so Nick was so mad that Aaron did not want to swing with him anymore that Nick wrote the message to Aaron saying that he needs to off himself.
now? Okay, so here's what's funny. The truth is an entirely different element. Is this even true? Did this really
Right.
happen? And if
It's definitely out of context. There was
Yeah.
a lot more going on than there.
but you're right. You're totally right. But even in context, that's a really bad move for Aaron to say it that way because
Yeah.
he's saying, I got into an argument with this guy and okay, we know what swinging means, but the judge is going to ask him, please explain yourself what swinging means so that I don't misinterpret it.
Right. Right.
So what we're saying is Aaron has now willfully told the judge, okay, this guy and I were swapping sexual partners, and because I said I didn't want to, he told me to go kill myself.
Yes.
Just take that into for what it is. That is not a repeated incident. I'm going to keep repeating this over and over because I really
Yes.
want to make this so clear. A repeated incident of making someone fear for their safety, security, or privacy. That is you having an argument with someone and saying, go fuck yourself.
Right. Right.
He just, I mean, people say it all the time. He steps on rakes, but it's not even stepping on a rake. He's always stepping on a fucking landmine. This is so
Yeah.
bad. That's not just stupid. That's remarkably stupid to say as your quote unquote supporting evidence that you're entitled to legal protection. Fuck off.
Yep. Yep.
Well, it goes on to say that the respondent is frightened the victim. Respondent frightened the victim with threatening behavior as follows, and it was from the date of that message to present, and he has put in his detail that the respondent continues to make threats publicly, continues to encourage others to harass me, and if I hadn't reset my Google passwords, he would still have unauthorized access to my online activity. He has read my emails and then harassed the recipients of those emails.
Again, oh my God. Again, we have to consider truth to be an element.
Right.
And what the judge is going to say is, first off, what this is asking for is details. It's not asking for a summary. It is asking for details. You can't just say someone made threats.
Right.
That doesn't do anything. I can say that about anybody. It also is, what is my perception and my interpretation of a threat? The judge is going to say, I need specifics. I need details. When did he do this? What did he say? To whom was he speaking? What was his audience? And then continues to encourage others to harass me. Well, we don't know that he's encouraging anybody to rise the level of harassment. But if he told someone to do something, what did he say? Who did he say it to? Did they do it? There's so many elements to that. God, this guy's dumb. He's frustrating me.
It's like he's gotta prove it. And then with having, Patrick there and Nick there, like they can be like, well, we're just goofing, man. We're just goofing because he believes it.
But oh my God. And it's gonna be a totally different thing for what am I trying to say here? It's a totally different scenario if Patrick or Nick say, I told somebody to do something, as opposed to Aaron having proof that it happened. That is not the same thing. And also, we keep forgetting that as much as Aaron wants to brag about being a public figure, he can't have it both ways, in which he is a public figure but a private figure when it comes to human interaction.
Right.
Exactly. And especially when he's telling the whole world about his private business, and that's what they're commenting on.
Oh my God, yes.
That he's talked about.
Yep.
Yeah. And that
guy.
actually goes into here. Hold on. Respondent used the victim's personal information without consent to invite, encourage, and or solicit a third party to engage in a sexual act. Wait, that was not what we are talking about. Sorry.
Hold on. But no. I now I'm curious about this. He gives a date range. He gives a date range.
Yes.
Is there any explanation or description of how this happened or occurred?
No. His description under that is the respondent accessed my Google account without authorization, developed search histories and financial information of his ex account, and it gives his account. If respondent deletes these tweets, I have them archived.
Go back though. Yeah, because he says solicit a third party to engage in a sexual act with the victim as follows, and that's the date range. When was Hackamania? That was like May, right? So April, when April left. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When April left, all the way up until November, encourage or solicit a third party to engage in a sexual act with the victim.
Hold on. Now, I can explain what that's intended to cover, but can you read his description again?
Yes, his description.
It doesn't seem like they're like connected, does it?
They're not. Yeah, it doesn't. And he says the respondent
accessed my Google account
without.
Is it his porn history? Is that what he's talking about? Like his porn?
That is not what that means.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those two don't seem connected at all.
What that means is, let's say I have a relationship with, I don't know, let's name somebody.
Corn Diff.
Corn Diff. Okay. I am in a relationship with Corn Diff, and I steal his information, like let's say his address, or his email address. and I hire a prostitute to show up at his house saying, please come over, I'll pay you money, here's my address, and
Okay,
here's my
right.
contact information.
Right.
Because that is a way of trolling somebody or, fucking with somebody, and that rises to the level of harassment immediately.
Right.
Or wait, no, is it yeah, okay, yeah, that's a single incident of
Right.
that.
Third party.
Of a third party. This is not what that is. This is saying he
No.
accessed my porn search history. That's not a sexual act with a third party, unless you consider Pornhub a third party to a sexual act.
Weird. That whole one threw me.
This
That's
guy-
really odd.
Here's the
My
thing.
hand is a third party.
Yeah.
Your Honor.
Not only is Aaron stupid, he's illiterate.
My hand is a third party. I need that on a shirt.
My hand is a
I have third party
Have you
consent.
not seen
Yes.
the movie Idle Hand or whatever, where the hand had, a mind of its own.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God, this
saying.
guy's stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. It goes on to say, so these acts by respondent show a pattern of attending public events while knowing a pattern.
Mhm.
While knowing knowing that attending is harassing to them. So that's the biggest part, is knowing that if they did attend, it would be harassment towards that person. And he said, but I guess it's like a subsection under it said, use social media to harass victim by, and then it gives the date range of April 11th when he got the text message to present, and says, as said before, the respondent is using X and YouTube to encourage harassment, spelled wrong, and make veiled threats that I should be dead for talking to police about his cocaine arrest in May of 24.
Okay, so here's the first thing that we've seen. Oh, well, hold on. Up there, that pattern of that's bullshit nonsense, and the judge isn't going to stand for that.
Right.
But this one is the first thing that I've seen where he's using some buzzwords. Maybe that's the right word I'm looking for. Buzzwords that are going to stand out to a judge. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one says, respondent is using X and YouTube to encourage harassment and make veiled threats. Now, veiled threats is going to stand out to a judge, but not in a good way for Aaron, because again, the judge isn't there to just take your word. The judge is to prove facts, prove, acts, intention, and the judge is going to say, you can't just say this.
Right.
You have to show it. You have to prove it. Veiled threats. Give me an example.
Right.
Yes. A time. Something that was said. Now Aaron now has a lawyer. So normally I would just say Aaron's too stupid. But now that Aaron has a lawyer, maybe his lawyer's smart enough to say, okay, well, listen, dumbass, we can't show up empty-handed. And that's an entirely different conversation as to why I think that those phone calls went out about the settlement. I literally think that Aaron's lawyer saw this and was like, what have you done?
Yep.
We've joked about it being like he's like a low level partner or like wants to become a partner in the law firm, and they're like, you have to win this case. Like it's his little ticket into the club of his law firm or something.
That's not a crazy theory to have, because
I know, I watch Suits.
Yeah. Oh God.
Just kidding.
That first season was okay.
It was.
But yeah, a lawyer worth his salt is not going to take this. And this is so bad. It's so awful. But yes, any lawyer probably just looked at Aaron and had to have like a conversation and been like, you did something bad. This is not good. And we have to do whatever we can to try to fix this. Now, if you think of this like a car accident, okay? When there's a car accident, somebody gets hurt, usually two parties involved.
Right.
An insurance company has to get involved, have to pay out. So a lawyer on behalf of their client usually reaches out to the insurance company and says, look, we can go to court. we can prolong this. We could pay a bunch of fees, or you could pay me right now.
Right.
Now, in that situation, there's leverage. There is some bargaining power. It's like, look, this is going to be bad for us. This is going to be bad for you. Let's just fix it now. With this incident, there was no bad for you and bad for me. There was only, this is really bad for my client. Can you please settle? And to Patrick and Nick's credit, they didn't. They had no reason to.
No.
Because they're saying,
not.
no. Why would I want any of this on my record with a settlement? I can just destroy you when we get to court next week.
Yeah.
Because this is just so bad.
Instance, you wouldn't think that the petitioner is the one that would want to settle. It would be the respondent who would reach out to the petitioner and be like, all right, I see what you have said. Let's settle. But it's the opposite, which is weird. I've never heard anything like that before.
Why in the world would a victim want to settle with the, with whatever you want to call it, the person that harmed them,
perpetrator,
the offender,
Right.
Why would a victim say, look, I don't want you to go to jail. I'm willing to just let bygones be bygones. That shit doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in the real world. But yes, you're absolutely right. And it's such a base level of stupidity. It's like everything you're doing is wrong from the foundation. It's just I don't get it. By the way, who was that person yesterday on This Little Piggy that was giving their legal opinion about Patrick? Was
that Adam?
I don't remember, but he was saying Patrick looked like a lunatic. Whoever that person was.
Sean. It was Sean.
Oh, I was like on the show. I was like,
no. Yeah,
Sean.
The video that y'all played.
Yes. A practicing attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we know that for sure? That was really weird.
Yeah. There's been recent video and stuff of him in court, like physically in court. No, he's a practicing attorney. He has used to be affiliated with Nick Rekieta a little as far as LawTube and stuff. That's how I think they had first, been acquainted. And then had a little bit of a falling out from that point forward. And he's very active on Kiwi Farms.
Okay.
The Sean guy, and posts a lot and so forth. But we had critiqued him a couple days before that on our show on Wednesday, and we're breaking down his analysis of it and calling him out on things where it's like, you're just breezing right over this, or why didn't you can we have some actual,
that makes a little bit more sense that he's biased. Yeah.
Right.
But when I heard that, and I was so shocked by it, I was like, this guy's a lawyer?
Yeah.
Like literally just making points that are completely irrelevant to any analysis of this. Him talking about Patrick flying, like that's not up for debate here. We know that. What the judge has to determine is whether he harassed him. Oof. But anyway, I just wanted to make the point. I disagree with every point that guy made.
Isn't it wild?
That was wild.
There was basic elements of it that he misses quite a bit, and that's why we had talked about it. And I'm like, I don't know if this is intentionally, avoiding this, certain facts of the case that are important, or what this is. But it's like if you are going to someone for their expertise, you want to hear your, the expert opinion on things, not their biased take on things. And let's hop and skip over this and that. I don't know.
Yes, y'all very intelligently approach that. Because I kept thinking to myself, like, oh my God, as a lawyer, there's this, and this, but it looks like y'all caught on to that. So good for you guys.
Thank you.
Him saying that makes you look like a lunatic. Well, being a lunatic isn't what has to be determined.
Right.
I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
He called Francis White, who is representing both Nick and Patrick, an asshole yesterday. I saw a clip on it. And it's like, fine, you can call anybody anything. But this was part of his analysis. And I thought, well, he said something like that was an asshole move. That guy's an asshole. And I was like, so?
Wait. he's an asshole, that means he loses the case.
Throw it out.
Right.
Throw it out. You're not allowed to be a lawyer and an asshole.
Nope. Not at all. There's no lawyers left. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Right.
joking.
Oh,
It's
Joking.
okay. I am an asshole.
I'm not. I am, and I'm not even a lawyer. So
Oh man.
It's that was I was thrown by that. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? What's going on here? All right, sorry.
I
Sorry to
know.
derail the
We
conversation.
were thrown by it too. When I first heard it, I was just like, okay. Because he was filling in blanks that Aaron left. He was literally filling in Aaron's blanks.
yes,
And it's like the lawyer cannot read Aaron's mind on this. So
But-
yeah.
I mean, now that you say that, now that we've established that he had a connection with Nick and that there was a falling out, that makes it that
Right.
puts a
Oh.
lot of it more into context. I didn't
Yeah.
know any of that, but
yeah.
yeah, it's obvious he's got some sort of vendetta there, and
Yeah.
that just makes it make a lot more sense. But you're right, filling in gaps, filling in holes, but then also coming to conclusions that are irrelevant to this. I was thrown by that.
Well, not even giving like alternative, like, oh, so what happens? Because I actually had a note on this because not only Sean, but other people who have said, I don't think these HROs are going to stick. I've heard Sean say it before. He said it for both of them, for Milton's and for Nick's. I don't think these HROs are going to stick. Okay, so then what's the alternative? What happens if they don't stick? So what repercussions could that actually have on Aaron or any potential case he has now? And he didn't even bring up any of that because I mean there are perjury statutes in place too, and they do cover HROs. He signs these HROs that he petitioned for under the threat of perjury. Penalty
Yeah.
of perjury.
Can I give you my thoughts on that?
Yes.
You are right. However, I think that this is actually going to be uneventful because
Okay.
I don't think it's going to have any impact on his other cases. And in the perjury thing, you're right. However, there would have to be another case. There would have to be like another trial to determine what is perjury. But since all of this stuff is emotion based, it really
Right.
gets gray and cloudy. So it's, as a practical matter, that usually just gets overlooked.
Right.
However, I do have a theory. I mentioned it yesterday. I don't know if anyone saw that on X. Someone was asking about my thoughts on how, similar question about how it would affect his revenge porn case. I don't think it's going to affect it at all. However, I do think that there's more to the story from Aaron's point of view. And again, I'm just completely speculating here. I think that in his haste and his
Yeah.
rush to file these, I think he was hoping there was actually going to be somewhat of an impact on his current case to suggest that maybe there could be a spread of blame. Hear me out. I think that just this is going to be weird, and I'm probably going to have to like struggle a little bit to articulate it because I'm trying to get in the head of a madman. but I think that what he was trying to do, and I don't think it's going to be successful in any way, don't get me wrong. I think what he was trying to do was trying to establish some kind of evidence to bring up in court on his case. Hey, yeah, I did that, but it was a back and forth retaliation between these parties who forced my hand, or it was a game we were playing in which I was trying to do it. A way to kind of dilute a little bit of the liability. I know it sounds crazy and weird, and I'm not saying that it would have any legal basis. I'm saying this is what a stupid person would do.
Okay.
I'm saying that a stupid person would sit there and think, man, I'm in trouble. Is there any way that I could shift some of this blame because of the fact that I was trying to get back at Rekieta by sending that picture of his wife?
Right.
Maybe if I show that he was harassing me first and then I sent it, maybe the judge will think that it's not so bad because I was somewhat justified. Again, This is what a stupid person would think. But I do think that that was part of why this got established. He was trying to establish some sort of record of saying, I was harassed. I was only sending that picture because I wanted the harassment to stop.
Spreading the liability is his MO all the time. He will not take personal responsibility. So that makes sense.
Again, I'm not saying that works because it will not.
Sure.
It will not work. But I do believe that a narcissistic person who's looking to escape liability would hope it would.
I can see it.
It would have made more sense if it was done prior to like all of this, but
I agree. No, 100%. And that's why it fails. And that's why it will not work.
Yep.
However, I think for a brief little moment there, reality sunk in. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
His asshole puckered real quick.
Yep.
But so just real quick in here, it says describe the effect of the harassment upon the victim's safety, security, and privacy, which is a very big standard for all of this. And he says, I cannot live a normal life, do my daily work without worrying if he's going to invent some new threat or make up some new charges that I am not responsible for.
That's not his problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever since his arrest for felony cocaine possession and child endangerment and my cooperation with the police and his access to my Google account, I have been worried he could come to my house and cause trouble, especially while my children are home.
But he never has.
Nope.
Right.
But he never has. And the harassment has to be demonstrated first before you can tell it to stop.
Well, that would be a good time to say on, July the 8th, he showed up at the residence. July the 9th, he called the house. July the 11th, whatever, he showed up at the kids' camp. That's the space where you would want to be doing that.
And all he's saying is, I'm worried that, well, you know what? I'm worried that I might get hit by a meteor tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, nor is there any evidence that it happened, nor is there any suggestion that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
None of this happened. Oh my God. Okay. So we've established so far. Let me write this down here. Aaron is stupid, illiterate, and also a crybaby moron baby pussy.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
okay.
I just want to point out one thing in here because it's something that Haley and I had talked about the other day is when he's describing if he believes that the harassment will continue if this HRO isn't put in place. And he says, yes, he says that he seems unhinged in regards to me and obsessed with inflicting whatever kind of quote unquote punishment he feels I deserve. I do believe he could get physical at some point. The use of the word punishment, I think, is very interesting because it's something that Haley and I had talked about yesterday when it comes to Aaron's intro to his show. And it's from The Punisher. And the last part of the intro to it is like talking about justice and vengeance. And he says, no, it's punishment.
Yeah. He says, revenge is an emotional response. That's not what this is or something. And it says, it's not vengeance.
It's not justice.
Punishment.
Yes, punishment.
I was trying to remember it and I got lost in it. That is odd that he used that specific term in here.
And put it in quotations. And I was like, I've never, because, I mean, listen, I don't, like anytime that we've heard Nick talk to people about anything, I have never heard him talk about Aaron needs to be punished or punishment. When I think of someone who's talked about punishment or revenge or anything, I always think about Aaron.
Here's the thing. Aaron, like I've said before, many times before for that matter, he had almost a year while the charges were, going through court with Nick and Kayla and April, where he was able to spin the narrative however he wanted to. He was the only one that was able to speak. And he knew that when the opportunity came about where they could say something, that he was going to be in a lot of trouble, quote unquote trouble, because of all of the things that he had said, either that wasn't true about them or that was just too much, or because he knew that that was a private situation. He used it for content for a year. And was sharing all this private information about them. The punishment that he expects coming from Nick and that side of the fence, I guess, is number one, warranted if it's And when I say punishment, I mean a response to the fact that
Right.
you've just been talking about our sexual acts and all the things we did for months, for a year on social media and sharing it all over the place and going on a media tour to different people's podcasts and stuff to make sure you spread that even further than your own, 13,000 or whatever it is sub count on his YouTube channel. But I think in his mind, he really he knew that was going to come in some shape or form, whatever it looked like. I don't think he ever thought that Nick was going to come and physically hurt him. But he knew there would at least be a response. And there may be, that might come as a legal response in a civil suit. And it still sounds like it may.
Yeah.
But, this is him reshaping that and trying his best to be like, no, I'm scared for my life. And I'm scared that, this is going to continue the harassment and whatnot from Nick. So.
It's funny, you just used a great word, reshaping, and I agree with that. It's reshaping, but reshaping poorly.
Sure. Oh yeah.
That's a really good way to phrase it. I don't even know where to start. So this is actually the language that caught my interest to get involved with this stuff, because I was like, man, who wrote this? Because again, at that time I still thought that he was represented by a lawyer, and I was like, what fucking lawyer would write this? I mean, it was just so bad. I was reading it and got really drawn into it. But again, can you go back to it real quick? Because I want to see the exact language he uses. And that language he uses, again, keeps drawing these conclusions that have not been established yet. That is for the judge to establish. But at the same time, he's saying, there we go. Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. I cannot live a normal life. That's not Nick's fault or problem as to what you do. And again, like a narcissist, everything has to affect me. And everything everybody else does affects me. Well, you know what? It's not up to you. I can't, without worrying if he is going to invent some new threat. Now that right there, as a judge, would jump off the paper to me, because it is saying nothing's happened yet. Nothing has happened yet, but I'm worrying that something is going to happen around the corner. That is not anyone's problem but yours. That is not Nick's problem. That's not Patrick's problem. Oof. That's just, you're living in a paranoid delusion is what that sounds like.
And it's been over a year when he says, like, where things have started, which is in April, but nothing of that type of significance has happened yet.
Not even yet. Let's even talk about their before April, their past relationship. There's a judge out there. I'm not going to say this judge, but I'm willing to bet there is a judge out there who is willing to make the leap of logic that because Aaron and Nick were wife swapping, that would put them into an intimate relationship themselves. Not saying sexual. I'm just saying an intimate relationship. Okay.
Yes.
That because of what they were doing, that they knew each other intimately. All right. Yep. Again, making it very clear, I'm not saying sexual. I'm just saying relationship.
Yep.
And that I guess they've known each other years. I don't know how long the wife swapping went on, whatever amount of time. But there's going to be a judge out there who's simply going to say, you guys were friends at one point. You guys were in an intimate relationship structure at one point.
Yep.
Grow up and work this out between yourselves.
Yeah.
And for him to say that in all this time, when you were in the intimate relationship, he never threatened you. He never physically assaulted you. Maybe you got sexually assaulted. We don't know. Jury's out on that one.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm joking because of the cum thing. But there's been no threats when you were in this intimate relationship. There was no repeated incidents of negative effects on your safety, security, or privacy. But now that you are on the chopping block as far as another case is concerned, and he responds to it, you expect protection from the government.
Yes.
Basically, two brothers fighting, one punches the other and hides behind mom.
Yes.
That's the situation we're looking at. And I'm just telling you, judges don't have time for this. A judge is going to look at this and be like, explain the situation. And I think honestly, once they get halfway through the explanation, he's going to cut them off and just say, get out.
Yeah.
just get out. Leave. Out. Act like fucking adults. Get out.
Right.
So,
right.
But it's just funny that Aaron, again, stepping on a landmine, those words he's saying ever since his arrest for felony cocaine possession and child endangerment. Now, who's punishing who here? He's trying to make those buzzwords to twist the knife a little bit, to point out what happened to.
Look, that's the
bad guy.
That's the bad guy. Exactly. But the judge, again, is going to say, what's that have to do with this?
Well, yeah.
What
does that have to do with you?
What does it have to do with you? Yeah, ever since his arrest for felony cocaine possession and child endangerment and my cooperation with police, which, if I'm not mistaken, he denied for a very long time, and his access to my Google account. Access to a Google account doesn't mean something bad happened. Right. Even he is saying he had access to my Google account. He's not saying he did anything bad with it here, I have been worried. Whether or not you're worried doesn't mean that's his problem or that he should be legally liable for anything. It's literally the words Aaron uses that are stupid. His words are dumb. He is a dumb man making dumb words.
Well, the only thing that I think that would pop out to me as like, okay, as something that could be concerning for someone is, yes, if he did do the cooperation with the police part.
Maybe, but we've established that. But we've established that Nick hasn't done anything. Nick has not said don't cooperate with the police. Nick hasn't said because you're a snitch narc, I'm going to do this. Yeah. That none of that can be proven. I realize he's saying that, and he's saying that he's making veiled threats. I realize that he's saying that there are incidents of it, but he's not giving them, and that's what's bad. And also, I have been worried he could come to my house. You're worried he could come to his house, but he hasn't done it. You can't just say, I'm worried about something happening, and therefore I'm entitled to legal protection from the government. You can't do that. That's this guy, man. My head is steaming right now.
Well, he went on to ask for the HRO against Nick to be placed on him for a year, and I think it was I think that was about it.
1,000 feet.
And 1,000 feet. But what was granted by the court itself, and what they said that they found present danger of harassment to justify a temporary relief. Yeah, is him being followed, monitored, or pursued by the petitioner, made uninvited visits to the petitioner, made harassing phone calls or sent harassing text messages to the petitioner, made threats to the petitioner, frightened the petitioner without threatening behavior, with threatening behavior, not without. Oh, God. And called the petitioner abusive names, and then used social media to harass the petitioner.
Now,
that's what they found that they said was justified.
So this is part of the procedure in order to ensure safety.
Right.
Okay. Before hearing. So since there is going to be by default a time frame between filing an application and getting a hearing, as a matter of public safety, a judge or a court has to say, okay, until we get this all figured out, here's what I need you to do, because this guy, this crybaby pussy is saying you did this.
Right.
We just need you guys. It's basically like separating a fight. Look, you guys are fighting. We're the police. Until we figure out what's going on, you go over there. You go over there. We're going to figure it all out. Now, the
Right.
figuring it all out is, of course, the hearing, in
Right.
which they will then say, okay, was it right that he filed this application? Is it, are you entitled to protection? But this is a formality to fill in that gap of time before there is a legal determination. So in my opinion, I don't think that there's a lot of credence to put into this part of it, because it is just I guess formality really is the right word, but it's a practical formality for safety. It's also just what's the word there's a word I'm looking for. I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
It also saves the court's ass in case something happens.
Exactly.
In that
Yeah.
time.
The liability issue of someone getting hurt.
Right.
The court can say, look, this needs to be in place in the meantime. If you violate this, then you will get in trouble, obviously.
Right.
But until we figure out where the real safety hazard is, or where the real threat is, we need you two to stay apart. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm just I guess I'm being long-winded about it, just to say, look, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of faith you should put in this as being a determining factor of the outcome. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So it goes on. Basically, they're all right. They're talking about these. He's got 20 days to respond. Yada yada. And then it basically says here. Hold on. Did I miss something? I didn't miss something. It didn't say that he couldn't. Oh, okay. Lord Jesus. So it's only for Aaron. It's not for his child, because he tried to put his child underneath this as well.
It says it right at the top. The minor children or persons subject to guardianship included in the petition are.
Yeah, it's just the respondent cannot direct or indirect contact with the petitioner, but it's not including his child.
Oh, you're
It's
right.
not-
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
checked. It's just the petitioner.
And you see B there. It says the relief granted does not extend to the petitioner's minor children.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's interesting too.
Yeah, that is very interesting. But I'm curious, and I haven't done like a full analysis. It obviously means that he didn't go into the depth of protecting his kids on this
Imagine
one,
that.
right? As he did with Patrick,
Right.
because I'm guessing Nick has never mentioned the kids ever. Yeah.
No, and anytime the kids actually were mentioned, he's like, they're great, and then he would just like move on. He didn't really talk about them. And then within 1,000 feet, and no box, I don't think, was checked about anything to do with saying something on social media or anything like that. But the one thing that was interesting, I just wanted to point out, it was filed on the 26th, which was the day after. And what were these?
The filing fees being waived.
This is it. So why would a filing fee be waived? Because
If you ask for it.
Okay.
Ah,
If you ask that the filing, usually courts have stuff in place for people who can't afford certain things. I'm not saying you can't afford it, but in order to take advantage of those programs, you do typically just have to ask.
Right.
Typically, and again, I'm not going to make any I don't know. I don't want to make any leaps or logic as to why this has happened, but normally you just say, hey, I see that you have this program that will waive the filing fees. Can I get that? That's really what it comes down to, or how I've seen it.
maybe it's because it's the first one. First one's free.
Maybe
For Aaron filing anyway. He's received a couple, but
it is made. I mean, look, it's intended for poor people who can't afford a lot of legal fees. I find it odd that he would ask for it, but whatever. But that's just usually how it works. Is a courts usually offer it as a way to protect you if you don't have a lot of money and you think that filing a restraining order is going to be a financial burden. They want to ensure your safety, so they offer programs like that. And Yeah, that's an odd one. that's a weird one. I find it odd. Just odd. That's all I'm going to say.
He's an odd bird, as is. But so that was the HRO that was filed by Aaron the day after. I know I keep saying it, but it's just
no, please. No, it's important. Yeah.
To say that it was filed the day after he didn't do so hot on his revenge porn case, and it was found that he violated his conditions of release, so it didn't actually become a sentencing hearing. It was basically, dude, you effed up. We got to book you again, and then your hearing's going to be in October. It's insane. It just keeps going. We thought it was going to be over in April.
So ridiculous.
He had his plea, and when he did his plea agreement, everyone thought, okay, well, that's it. It's done. Right? It's done. And
the fact that he was I remember that, and that whole thing just got under my skin. It shouldn't have. I realize it, but it got under my skin of him being like, oh yeah, my lawyer reached out and the judge just said we're going to handle this, and I'm going to go. I was like, why are you saying that? That is a stupid thing to say. You shouldn't make any conclusion whatsoever as to what a judge is going to do. You just shouldn't, because they will make a point to make sure that that they surprise you. I never got that. And it seemed that he was very misinformed as to what a plea deal procedure is. There is no obligation whatsoever for a judge to accept a plea deal. None.
Yeah.
It's happened before. There's plenty of videos of it on YouTube of a judge saying, no, I don't want to. It is really just a time-saving measure that has become a routine in America just for the sake of speeding things along. But a judge does not have to accept that plea deal at any point. And the fact that it hadn't actually been finalized and he was sitting there bragging about it, dude, you are dumb. Oh, God.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like bragging about like calling your shot and then striking out. This is basically what that was. Like, you shouldn't have been calling that shot before the pitch was thrown, you fucking idiot.
So look, I'm going to play a clip from the 28th, and it's just a very short, like couple of minutes. Oh, okay. She's gone. A couple of minutes here. I want to make sure that the audio is going to come through for me, though, because I've had some trouble. But this is a couple of minutes of sort of Nick responding to the HRO and what his plan will be.
Sure.
Served this restraining order, it was absolutely shocking. Like, I didn't know what the paperwork was going to be. It's just like, oh, hey, Nick, this is the sheriff. Need you to come down and pick up some papers. And I'm like, oh, God, like, what? Who knows? My past, over a year has been a little bit hectic. And so it's like, oh, God, what did I do now? I don't even know. I thought I got rid of everything. But so I had no idea what it was going to be. And they won't tell you over the phone. They won't just say, yeah, you're getting served a restraining order from a person or something. They won't say, like, oh, we've just got a subpoena for you. They don't tell you, because that would potentially be legal advice. And so for liability for the government agency, they just don't do that. That's fine. That makes sense. But it's nerve-wracking as hell, because you're like, I don't know what this is going to be. So I show up, I get it, and I'm dumbstruck. I'm like, you've got to be joking. Like, this is, there's no way that this is serious, but it is. It's serious. It's right here. It's right here. And what it says, the order says, I am not to have any direct or indirect contact or communication with this person. I'm to stay 1,000 feet away from their house. Okay. I'm fine with that in general. Like, I don't reach out to this person and I don't go to their house. So those are easy terms to follow. However, I will be contesting this as soon as possible. The main reason being, if you have a restraining order sitting over your head, you have a reason to be arrested sitting over your head. And I will not tolerate that. It's absolutely frivolous. It is nonsense. And So I'm fighting it with maximum, with maximum defense here. This is about something that I don't do being claimed about me, and that's not tolerable, and it has legal repercussions. So what I did was I reached out on Twitter and I put forth a proposal. The proposal was I will give the first person who can do it $1,000 to produce a video. And the video is just once per day from April 11th, which is part of the restraining order, until April 11th, 2024 to yesterday. Once per day, this person bringing me up without my prompting. Like I'm not there. I'm not like I'm not in the room. I'm not in the ceiling. I'm not in the corner chair or whatever. None of that is happening. And I'm being brought up on their own thing.
Okay, so a couple of things here that are interesting and stand out to me. I remember when this was the first time that Nick had talked about it after receiving the HRO.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a point to say, basically Aaron knows that I am on probation. He knows that any little tiny slip up and I'm gone for several years. I think 5 to 10 years is what's hanging over his head. Okay.
Yep.
So not only is it out of the blue, we talked about that a minute ago, where it's like, well, why didn't you say something a year ago when this started really bugging you and bothering you and affecting your daily life and your ability to work and all the things that you said? It comes across obviously as retaliatory, but it also comes across as gunning for him. I mean, absolutely like going for the throat, in my opinion, and thinking, okay, this is one way that I can get him. It'll cause Nick to slip up, screw up his probation, and then this will not be a problem for me for several years, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. What do you think about all of that?
That's interesting. I don't know the details of Nick's probation, but if that was one of the conditions, then that makes absolute sense.
Well, if he gets any new charges, you know what I mean?
Okay.
If he has anything at all, if he gets a DWI, obviously that's one because he can't drink. But if he gets any charges whatsoever, that's a problem.
Huh.
According to his probation. Yeah, he's not. He is to be a good boy.
I could see it. Just trying to give like a big middle finger to him. And what's funny though is I felt like y'all were really onto something about the narcissistic personality when you said yesterday on this little piggy that Aaron seems to really rejoice more in the detriment or I'm sorry, in the punishment of others rather than the benefit to himself. Would he lose 2 fingers if an enemy lost 1 sort of thing?
Yep.
And I don't know what about that really stood out to me, because I just thought to myself, man, that's really what's driving this whole thing, is that he has completely lost sight of how terrible he looks in this situation, as long as he can simply point a finger to say, ha ha, I screwed that guy over, or I brought punishment to that person, or my enemy looks bad. I mean, it's really, it's remarkable. But anyway, all that to simply say is I believe that falls in line with what you're asking, which is that seems to be his MO very, very regularly and consistently. Just, I don't like you. I get that we have history or whatever, but at this moment, you're not my favorite person. So I'm going to do whatever I can to just exercise superiority, because I cannot do it physically. I cannot do it morally. I can't do it any other way. I just have to find some possible opening where I can be superior.
Well, and you have to remember, he's coming off of this, little shindig situation they did for 6 months where they're swinging and doing.
Is that how long it was? It was only 6 months? I thought it was
6 months.
Okay.
They only knew each other for
it was
what, like
quick.
They only knew each other for a few months before it started. Yeah,
Oh, really?
they are not long time. Yeah, it was a big thing where there was a comedy show in Minnesota, and Chrissy Mayer was supposed to be headlining. Her father was murdered that weekend, and so they asked, I swear, and so they asked Nick Rekieta to come in and basically headline and take her place. That's when he met with Aaron Imholte in April for the first time. So yeah, so that was like 6 months worth. But this here is coming off like when they got arrested. April had already moved out of the house. You know, they were getting ready. Aaron's the one that filed for divorce, but everything was gone. You know what I mean? Like that whole fun time and the drugs and the partying and the swapping and all of that was gone. Not
The
only
good
that,
old
but
days.
His wife was gone too. His wife left him, you know, so his world was crumbling. The only advantage that he had at that point in time was the ability to spin the narrative and to talk about it without any pushback from all of the other participants that were involved for a year. So then when that opens up, it's like, oh shit, I got to do, you know, he had the advantage for this long, you know, and so now that people are able to talk, it's like he wants to be able to do whatever and be completely untouchable.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's in all things with him, though.
Well, I guess we all do. He's the one who actually makes an ass of himself trying to find it.
Yeah. We all have common sense, and we all know that's not possible at all times. But he's not like that. You know, you
know, what's funny? I don't know why this just popped into my head. I guess I haven't heard this brought up enough. Has anyone ever really pointed out the fact that he is such a horrible human being that he had a woman leave a relationship where she had 100% of his attention to go to a relationship where she only got 50% of the attention?
I really think they were done with each other at that point. I genuinely do. I think they both understood, like, we got into this for the wrong reasons. What the hell? And they went to go have a good time because
what are the right reasons?
I don't know. There aren't any. Exactly. You're exactly right. There aren't any. But
I could be screwing up memories, but I heard somewhere that they went to church together. Is that accurate?
Yes.
But they didn't know each other from church. Yes. Nick and Kayla were taking Aaron and April to church, to their church. There's video of it. They would record some of the, you know, sermons, and you can see them all together with all the Rekieta kids. And then there's Aaron and April. I swear. And because Aaron talks about how, you know, he realized too late that it was going against God's word and that they were blaspheming, you know, the church.
Who said this?
Aaron. I know. Look, like right after this happened, he for a couple of weeks there, he got where he was getting real preachy and he would just spit out different scripture at people. And it was
Let me guess.
weird.
Was it right around the time when things were going very bad for him?
Well, I mean, he was losing everything.
He
had
big
to
surprise.
be superior, right? So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this dude that was also swinging and doing drugs and, you know, bringing their children around, all of it too, for that matter. All of a sudden, he's the one with the moral high ground. He's the one who has the, you know, pure heart and can right all the wrongs and wag the finger.
Oddly enough, and I'm being honest here, not the first story I've heard of swingers meeting at church.
Really?
Not the first. Yes.
That's so creepy.
Have you not heard about the whole big controversy that happened with like the secret lives of Mormon wives or whatever?
Oh,
and how all that started?
You mean the hit 2-season show on Hulu?
Yes, that one.
Yes, I'm very aware of that one.
Yeah.
But however, I feel like that story got totally screwy with the woman who claimed she was swinging because for a while she didn't provide proof. And that she didn't provide names. So I didn't really believe that one. The story I'm talking about actually is people I know personally. But I'm a huge fan of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You know what?
Taylor is so annoying.
I feel like I shouldn't say that live on the air, but I'm going to go with it. Big fan. Love that show.
I've never seen it, but your comment alone was enough to creep me out because I was in church many, many years growing up. And that creeps me out just to think like, I mean, I guess it happens all over the place, but like little Haley is like, no.
I actually, you know what? It's funny. Like about 3 weeks ago, I recommended that show to Gummy because I was like, "Look, you got to watch this show because it is what I don't think people get is how surreal it is. It's it's like a different planet of human beings living because they all have these very, very weird boundaries and guidelines. But then they get crossed and justified in such weird ways. Yes. Like, okay, here's an example. Swig, okay? There is, okay. So they're not allowed to drink alcohol, all right? No. Because they're all Mormon. So they have caffeine. And they all go to this soda shop. And they drink sodas constantly. By the way, I went to a Swig recently. It's fucking awesome. I had to go after I saw the show. So,
I understand.
But here's what's weird about it. So then, like, no alcohol, and they're very, very, like, I don't know, vocal about it. Like, we don't do alcohol, blah, blah, nothing. But then some of them do cocaine. And it's just this weird boundary of like, what exactly is the purpose of having these boundaries if there are exceptions to the boundaries? I once, if you guys know the comedian Bert Kreischer, he used to have a show on the Travel Channel where he'd go to like different parts of the world of America and do these crazy things. And he did this stunt where he got like flown out of a can, some stunt. I forget what the stunt was, but he did it in Utah. And I remember just thinking it's the exact same scenario where he says, "Man, I'm sober." And he made a joke to someone. He goes, "Too bad you guys don't have any alcohol. I know you guys don't drink." And a Mormon guy goes, "Oh, well, you want a Xanax?"
Oh my!
And he goes, "Huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, we can't drink, but there's no rules against drugs." and I remember like that just really like just striking me really hard because that's the whole thing about the Mormon thing on that show anyway, is that it's this surreal, weird boundaries of moral high ground, but any of them can be deflated with the right argument.
Right.
Yeah. It's so weird. And okay, well, I'm sorry. I totally derailed this conversation, but that's exactly what I'm saying about this is that I feel like that's kind of in this scenario too with Aaron.
Yeah.
Moral high ground, superiority, but you can be easily convinced otherwise.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? The last week, and I haven't heard him do this ever, and I don't watch him religiously, but of all the times I have watched down his shows, I've never heard him talk about this, but the last week he's made several different comments about online activity, online bullying, how anonymous people aren't going to be anonymous anymore. Like it's to fit further into his defense, I guess, with these cases, but he doesn't, connect the two, but it stands out to me because all of a sudden out of nowhere, he wants to talk about like the relationships of people online. He has used the word parasocial probably 150 times in the last week, where it's just like, this is all of a sudden, his more, I guess,
on his radar,
passionate. Yeah. Like he's super passionate about talking about like, online bullying. And I'm like, dude, that's what you base your entire show on.
It's why you got fired from your job.
Yes, about that.
I only learned about that last week. And man, that is, as a man, I think I'd have a very different interpretation of some of his actions than you ladies might. I see it as such a compensation for a lack of masculinity, where, and maybe women see through it, but I heard Shuli played the tapes of him harassing that woman, and I mean, first off, it's sad. It's so cringeworthy, unnecessary, but it was also this overly done character of him just saying, "Oh yeah, we're going after her, we're doing this," and it's like, this isn't you. This is insincere. This isn't genuine. And then at some point, he even says, I'm a shock jock. And it's like, there it is. There it is, right there. We have a template that was laid out for us by Howard Stern, and we're trying to fit that template. And if no one else is going to give us that title, we'll give it to ourselves.
Well,
I'm a dinosaur. I'm a pilot. I'm an astronaut.
I do wonder though, because I think that that's part of what he's going to use in his defense with all of this stuff going through with court, is that this is a character that he plays, and that all of his, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, that's what he's going to rely on. And because he's brought that up recently too. Yeah.
I see it, but I think that's a bad move. I see it.
For sure. Again, it's like, look at this idiot we're dealing with, but trying to put ourselves in the place of this, mind of a madman. But that's what I think he's going to pull. I
do see it, and I think he's going to probably take. He's probably going to take the same steps that Alex Jones might have taken, where he was saying, I'm this, I'm that. I think it is a bad move because it didn't work for Alex Jones.
It didn't. I did it all the time.
Yeah, but again, this is a stupid person.
Yes, but it also, like we said earlier, it blurs the line between public figure and personal, space and personality. Even like that adds a new layer to no, it's a personality I'm playing, that a character that I'm playing.
Right.
But him being able to blur that line, that gets a little, and it's unprecedented in court documents and stuff too, in court.
And also when he's saying that it's a personality, but he's bringing real things in from his real life. Like you're saying, that helps with the whole making it so gray, and why that defense would be. And
a judge is going to ask, well, if this is a character, then why do you talk about real things? And of course he'll have some kind of argument prepared, like, well, this is real and this is part of the character.
Is your character afraid?
How am I supposed to know the difference?
Yeah, exactly. How are any of us? Right.
Yeah. And I cannot think. Look, and again, I want to make this so clear. I don't feel like I'm even being biased here because I'm so new to this.
Yeah.
I'm not biased against Aaron. I think he's a dork. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a dumbass. But that doesn't mean that I'm a fan of Nick Rekieta or Patrick Melton.
Yeah.
I'm very new to this and learning about this scenario, and I feel like I'm giving a very objective opinion of how terrible this looks for Aaron.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy.
I hate to tell you this, but that means that you're officially in the Melton Nick Ballwasher camp now, whether you like that or not. Okay,
you don't sweep it up.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying, and that's exactly what I'm trying to disseminate. It's like, look, I'm going to keep shitting on Aaron for making bad decisions and stupid decisions because that's what I'm seeing through this scenario and through his words.
Yeah.
But I know that's going to make me, a ball washer for Melton and Rekieta. Well, here's the truth. Look, I don't really expand beyond my world in the Dabbleverse.
Right.
I'm not necessarily going to say that I'm a fan of anyone's. I'm just saying this situation just looks so bad. And I cannot think of a scenario, any objective scenario where Aaron has an argument for this to be true. And look, crazier things have happened. There's going to be a judge out there somewhere who says that Aaron's entitled to legal protection. I get it. I'm not a fortune teller by any means. But the facts as of right now, the circumstances do not lead to Aaron coming out of this without looking like a moron. Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad.
It is. And speaking of bad, here's even more bad.
Add a new layer.
Let's add another layer to this. So this is Patrick's HRO that Aaron had filed against him. And this was probably, I think, 6 days after Aaron had filed his HRO against Nick.
Okay.
One of the confusing things has been if if he really felt that way of like he felt danger or his safety was I guess what he wasn't safe. If he was in danger or whatever.
Was going to be affected negatively or if he was worried about his safety.
Why didn't he file the petition for HRO against Patrick while he was still in Minnesota? It was the day after his hearing. Why didn't he file it the same time that he filed Nick's?
Nothing of this makes sense. So I feel like for us to say that we should start making sense of it now,
I know,
just is crazy. But like, I don't get it. I don't get what his motivation is. I mean, well, I do get what his motivation is. His motivation is that he's trying to humiliate his enemies, but he's doing a very bad job of it. But what would be the reason for waiting that long? And literally, it was an afterthought. It was, you know who else my enemies are? You know?
Well, the speculation has been that after Patrick had actually gotten back from Minnesota, while Patrick was in Minnesota, he had visited some of the places in which Aaron had talked about on multiple occasions on his show, like Stoney's. He went to the gym, and he also went to Wapakata Golf Course, where Aaron's tournament is supposed to be held. So Patrick had released a video of, what was it? I think it was of them at Stoney's, as well as his trip to the golf course. And then not so long after that, this was filed. I think it was like the day after he did his video on the golf course. This was filed because the golf course was talking about how there is no golf tournament. And basically Aaron was lying about the golf tournament or something. And then this is filed.
And it's amazing because, again, I do apologize for constantly repeating myself, but I do feel the need it is necessary.
Yeah.
That going somewhere that you frequent, or some place that is mildly, weirdly, tenuously associated with you, is not harassing you.
Right.
It is a public place where Patrick is allowed to go. And if he goes there, and let's say he sets up a tent and goes to sleep in the lobby of this place, that does not affect Aaron. And that does not rise to the level of harassment in the eyes of the law towards Aaron. Nothing about that. And so I don't get it. I don't understand how any logical, reasonable mind could make that connection, that is somehow harassment to Aaron. I don't get it. I just don't. That's so stupid, so dumb.
If Patrick visited those places knowing that Aaron was going to be there, I could see an argument for it a little
maybe,
bit.
but remember, under the definition, it has to be repeated instances after being told that it is harassing.
Yes.
None of that occurred, so it just doesn't arise to the level of harassment. I get it hurts your feelings, Aaron, but this is not a restraining order against hurting feelings. This is a restraining order against the legal definition of harassment, and I don't think he gets that.
And he wasn't told it was harassment until after the fact.
And he never went back.
And he didn't go back. So, with this petition, like Nick's, he had filled it out for not just only him, but also for not all of his minor children, just one of his minor children. And he goes on to say, like, what was the relationship between
Patrick.
Yes, Patrick and Aaron, and it says that he's his online stalker.
What?
That's another buzzword. That's what I'm saying. That's another one where he's like, I'll put this one in here. Online
Yes.
stalker.
Oh, hold on. I need to look at something else, but I'll wait until later. Yeah, so it was online stalker. Skip that one. Okay. So this one, unlike Nick's, like there are some parts where there was blanks and Aaron filled it out. With Patrick's, it's like he doesn't explain himself until the end. So I'm just going to read through these just real quick, and then we'll go through the explanation. And it says, respondent has followed, monitored, or pursued the victim as follows. And it just gives the date of June of 2023 until present. And then it doesn't write anything. It goes, respondent made uninvited visits to the victim as follows. And it was June 25th of 2025, that was the court date. That was Patrick going to court.
A public event.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What is going on with the mouse? Sorry.
But
Monster voice.
I mean, literally, you boil this down to what it is. And I said that jokingly earlier, but now I'm really going to stick with it. Aaron is confusing or conflating hurt feelings with harassment.
Yeah.
And that's really all this is.
Mhm.
You're
I
allowed.
don't even think it's the conflating it of harassment. He's just trying to think of different ways in which he can garner sympathy from somebody. Like what sounds horrible enough that I would gain sympathy, or someone could see it as something that could protect me from these people. I honestly don't even think it's that far of him actually thinking any of this is harassment, to be honest.
I don't either.
I can't argue with that. Yeah. I mean, that's wow. Yeah.
This is
all
the
right.
gotcha.
I just
I'm gonna
blew
put
your mind.
You did. Because that's even a more what am I trying to say here? I guess that's even a more fascinating idea to think about, is that he's doing this knowing that it's none of the things he's claiming it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because it's all reactionary.
yeah.
Because if this really was something that he was concerned, because I kept asking, like, when it comes to the Nick's HRO, he could have done this well before his revenge porn case crumbled. I mean,
Right.
he could have done it way before then, but he decided that the day after he was basically called out on his ass that he was going to go and file this. Like, so when it comes to Nick, what was the last straw that Nick did in that day to make him feel like he was being harassed? Could it have been like, I keep saying it's the narcissistic rage. It's because that night that Patrick and Nick were away from the court, and after the court stuff, Patrick and Nick were together and they did a stream together talking about what happened in court that day. And then the next day, Aaron files an HRO. Okay, that's odd. That's not because you feel like you're being harassed or anything like that. It's because you're getting called out for your shit.
I really think it was.
yeah.
I really think
Yeah.
it's because they took a little trip around town and went to Stoney's, where that's one of his promoted
Hangouts.
businesses on it. Yes. And that's not even a place that he stays, and that's not like his local bar that he hangs out. It's like a 30-45 minute drive from where he lives. It's where he goes and puts on events and where he does his anniversary show and things like that. But he does promote it on his channel every single day in the corner of his show. He does like an actual verbal, shout out to him and stuff, promoting this business. But then Patrick also went by the golf place that is going to be where the tournament anniversary weekend thing coming up is going to be held at. And he also went to Aaron's boxing gym and spoke to Coach Scott.
Right.
So for me, that was the threat right there, was like, he's going and sort of, hobnobbing, so to speak, with these people that I have built a reputation with. And because look, at the end of the day, this really is this huge facade, which we saw in a text message that Aaron wrote to Nick that came out the other day. But he says, I've got my addiction is this facade that I have to put on in front of everyone. Right. So, but this is it. This is like the dismantling of that. And who's doing it? Patrick's coming in. Patrick's saying, like, let's find out who this person really is. And he actually said that he was asking random people, like, do you know who Aaron Imholte is? Do you know who Still Toe Morning Show is? So this facade is crumbling in front of him that he tells everyone, you know, he's this big deal and everybody loves him. And it's just, I was kind of surprised
when y'all went over that yesterday that no one suggested that it was a what's the word I'm looking for here, that it was an attempt at a pity fuck from Nick Rekieta. I was like, does nobody catch this? Is nobody gonna say that? Like, I really thought that that's what was going. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. Like, that seemed like a pitiful thing that a guy would say to somebody who he's trying to get laid from. Like, I was like,
please come over.
Yes,
please.
yes. And I was like, why is no one saying that? Like, that's what I thought. I mean, that's just me, but
I see it now.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
Like,
oh
right?
My God.
But
yeah.
But no one said that, and I was like, that's pity language. Like,
yeah.
believe me, I know.
Well, you know what though? Because it goes into this whole like victimhood mentality. It's so weird. We've talked about this from the beginning when we started talking. We're like, why does he sound like the victim and the hero in all of his stories? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But
yeah,
I mean, I think.
So you're saying that he wants Nick to white knight for him?
I think he was trying to fuck Nick. Again, I'm not gonna say it with any certainty, but I'm just saying the language he used was just so odd. He was just like, you know, like I'm having. I mean, it was essentially him pouring his heart out to say that he's having trouble dealing with the world. And I was like, first off, it's insincere and sounded gross and weird, but I was just like, but he's also like, you know, hey, have pity for me. And look, I could really use a friend right now. And maybe I could rub your shoulders and maybe
my hands will slip a little lower.
Yeah, maybe I could cook you dinner and we see what happens. And I mean, like that's what was so just odd and I mean just weird about it. But that's just again, just my thoughts.
Oh my God, I'm gonna reread it.
Pull it up now. Let's talk about it now.
Where is it?
I'll get it.
You'll get it.
What you're doing, and I'll get it.
All right. So while she's pulling that up, I just want to go through these two because he doesn't respond. He doesn't say anything on here, but he says respondent made threats to the victim as follows, and it's from the time frame of June of 2023 to present. And then a respondent frightened the victim with threatening behavior as follows, and it was just specifically June of 2024. Then it says respondent took pictures of the victim without permission as follows. And it just is June 25th of 2025. And that's the court date.
And as far as we know, there were no images taken or video taken that we've seen. I don't know if Patrick has some, but we haven't seen them.
He drew a picture.
That's it. Yeah. Now, he did take a camera, a 360-degree camera that he set up outside of the courthouse, but it was raining so bad it wasn't going to work. He took it down. But that's in a public place.
And but there's also no picture. Like
there's no picture. No video. Yeah.
I don't think he knew though.
You think he just assumed?
I think he just assumed. Or I honestly
this was several days later though. You think he just
God, what an idiot. I mean, he has to, you don't get to just say stuff. You have to justify it. You have to prove it. Like, what is he thinking he's going to get away with by saying the guy took a picture of me? Okay, where is it? Well, I think he did. I mean, like, that's not a good strategy. Like,
we take pictures of him all the time. We screenshot the shit out of him.
You're damn right. I'll do it again.
That's just so, you know what? I'm sorry. I keep saying odd. I keep saying that's just weird, whatever. Let me clarify. That is strange behavior for an adult man.
Yes.
A lot
that
of
is what I find odd. Hey guys, can I take a quick restroom break real quick?
Absolutely not. Okay. You're gonna have to sit there and
I'm very sorry. All right.
No, of course.
Hold on.
Go right ahead.
Be right back.
So I wanted to bring up the post that you were just talking about with Rekieta. This was a text message, and I think Moody said it was April the 4th, which it doesn't have the date on this, but I'm assuming he's seen the original. It says, he's fine. Everything is always coming up aces. And from Aaron to Nick specifically, not in the group chat with all four of them. It says, my addiction is creating a facade, so everything feels and looks happy, but I'm not being honest. I'm worried the truth will scare people away. This group of four has made me so happy and made me feel part of something special. But navigating all the relationships at once is proving too difficult for me, and I lean back on that facade, the lie. I can't lose it, but I have to admit now that I can't do it on my own. You said last night to accept help. This is me doing that.
Hey, okay. Here we go. Now, just imagine there's some smooth jazz playing in the background. You're a single lady. All right. Mm-hmm. You are, whatever your age is, like 25. Let's say you're 25 years old, and you don't have a husband or kids, and some guy texts you, my addiction is creating a facade, so everything feels and looks happy, but I'm not being honest. All right, I'm going to fast forward because that's just getting creepy. I can't lose it, but I have to admit now that I can't do it on my own. You said last night to accept help. This is me doing that. Come on over. Let me cook you dinner. Uh-huh. You see what I'm saying? It's a little weird.
Well, it also makes me think, like, what was that conversation about? And, like, was it actually Aaron's addiction that got him kicked out?
I don't even know what the addiction he's referring to is, but it just seems like a cry for help from Nick. And I'm just telling you, that's just my thoughts on it, is that I get that it's creepy. I get it. But I'm saying that Aaron is creepily making a pass at Nick.
100%. But I asked, we looked at this on This Little Piggy yesterday, and Adam Bush said that no, the addiction is creating the facade. Like, that is the addiction. Whereas I read it as like, is it alcohol? Is it that he's got these gay tendencies? Like, is there another addiction?
So his addiction is the lie.
Yeah. And so when you read it in that context, it makes it a little different, where he, to your point a minute ago, is being extremely vulnerable, ripping his rib cage open and saying, here's my heart, Nick, take it.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. You said it better than I could. But I remember Adam saying that now that you mentioned it. And I agree.
It like that. I read it that way,
I could see that. And look, this is my take. I don't know if Nick has an opinion on it. I'll bet he does. But yeah, I really think, you know what? Here we are talking about how stupid Aaron is. Maybe he'll enjoy prison.
Oh yeah. He can finally be himself and find some love, maybe.
He comes out a whole new man.
The man, for sure.
It's probably the one place he's not going to get ridiculed for being gay. Yeah.
He'll be appreciated there at least a little while until he opens his mouth and starts talking. God, he would be so annoying. He would be so, I know. He would be so annoying behind bars. Can you imagine being locked up with Aaron?
No.
I don't know. I think no, are you kidding? He would try to get all buddy with like the prison guards and stuff.
100%. He would be narc day one. They would be like, this is a kid. Sailor from him.
See how good that boxing does him in prison.
Yeah, right. He's 0-2, so you know.
No. Two.
Oh yeah, just two. I remember that.
I misspoke.
Oh, but I wanted to bring this back up because so it says respondent shared private sexual images of the victim without permission as follows. And these are the dates of Hackamania of May 9th of 2025, of May 11th of 2025.
Yes.
Oh my. So he really is going with private sexual photos from a shirtless photo
Yes.
of himself in bed.
Yes. And this is another way that we know for sure that there was no attorney involved in writing this application, because they would have said, okay, this does not fit the standards of what a sexual intimate image is. There wasn't even any nipples shown in the bedroom, the picture where he's like in the bed, like pulling back the covers.
But even if there were, he's a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't. So that doesn't even fit, the description.
Defense is going to come out that he's a woman now. That doesn't. It's not going to hold.
Maybe prison will help him realize that. But like, yeah, there is a definition for what constitutes a sexual photo. This isn't something you just get to claim has a sexual connotation or a sexual context. You don't get to do that.
But we were in the bedroom, so it's intimate.
Right. This is not the first time, though. He's tried to use the images that were shown from Hackamania as saying that there were disseminated private images. He said it on his show before, and he was trying to make it seem like in the context that what he did in his revenge porn case wasn't that bad because it was actually done to him. And when he did talk about his revenge porn case, he had never said that it was private sexual images. He never used the word sexual ever. He always described it as him disseminating private images. And that's not what it is at all.
That is not illegal. Private images is not illegal.
Right.
No.
Private sexual images that meet the definition, the legal definition of sexual images, is illegal. Yep. Now, okay, that's really funny that you just said that, because now that makes me feel a little validated in my theory about him trying to spread liability.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, it is wildly insane how he's trying to do these little dips and dives and dodges to try to make it seem that what he did actually wasn't that bad, and he was a victim too of this, because they're meanie heads and they did mean things to me too. But what I did wasn't that bad because they disseminated pictures of me.
Yes. And I feel like that falls right in line with what I was saying about him trying to make himself look less liable because it was in retaliation or response to, God, you said it so perfectly, meanie heads. That's all he's doing.
Heads.
Big
meanie poo-poo heads. Like,
big booger eating meanie heads.
Yes.
Wow.
It is. And what the saddest part of this is what I'll say is about this. This is the saddest part about this whole thing. When it even comes to actual justice for things like this, is that if you are not in tune to all these different minutiae of things that have been going on for the past year, then you don't really understand why some of this stuff is actually a big deal. Because you can't understand like the different nuances to it.
It's delusion. It's him being delusional, but also, to say it's a rookie mistake feels like it's not a good enough term, but it's him crying that he's been wronged, and that there's rules that have been broken without him knowing the actual rule. Him saying they did this and they should be punished by the law without knowing what the law says about that thing.
It's Aaron's law. Duh.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's, God, everything he does is really, every time you think there's a bright, shining, spotlighted example of his narcissism, he outdoes it.
It turns out to be a polished turd. That's what it is.
And this is like, if you really just dig down deep into this, you realize how this is all just another big shining light on his narcissism, because he is just saying, I want them to leave me alone because they hurt my feelings, without realizing he is wasting court time with something that is not based in any law. He's just simply saying, I feel they deserve to be punished by the law without realizing that they've actually violated any law. I mean, God, and you know what? It was Patrick's that really drew the application against Patrick that really drew me into the situation, because there's a part in here, and I don't mean to get ahead, but there's a part in here where he talks about where he proposes the idea that there's some sort of sexual fascination with him.
Yes.
But then his words that he uses are, "I don't know." And my God, if that is the worst possible thing you could say as your evidence to support a restraining for evidence to support legal intervention should never have the words "I don't know" in there.
Right.
Guess what? Actual victims know exactly when things happen, exactly where they were, when, with the weather that day. They know.
And also, throw it into the context of the fact that we realize nothing has actually happened and nothing's been done. And he's saying again, "I'm afraid something's going to happen. I think something's going to happen. I think a meteor is going to fall out of the sky and hit me one day, but I don't know if it will." It's like, well, now you've just cast doubt on your own claims. Like, God, this guy's dumb.
It keeps getting better. I have never seen a more fascinating human. And
wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying he really is fascinating to me in the worst way, right? But
Yes.
He continually surprises me, and I think there's so much to him, because people are like, "Oh, he's just a dork. Like, who do you care? Who cares?" And it's like, yeah, I know that, but if you watch him long enough, to me, he's wildly fascinating, and not in a good way. I think he's
in a terrible way. But
Yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier, but it just dawned in my head. I realized I hadn't updated my list. What have we learned about Aaron? He's dumb.
Yeah.
He's illiterate.
Yes.
He's a crybaby, bully, pussy bitch.
Yes.
Gay.
Oh,
Yeah.
there
He shaves his armpits, right, Luigi?
That was a weird one. And like, I'll admit, I'm kind of a hairy guy, and I've done that in summertime to avoid like getting too sweaty. But it only lasts like a couple of days. I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this.
But
yeah.
you have a reason to. In the same way, if you
Yeah.
said, "Hey, man, I love to swim. I'm an Olympic swimmer." There's reasons where I could justify that. It's Aaron. I'm just saying. I think you said he was gay. I said, well, I think maybe he's edging towards being even more feminine, for that matter. But I'll shut up. Go ahead.
I just think he's a St. Cloud Strangler, and he doesn't want to leave DNA evidence behind.
I think that's hilarious. I love that.
But no,
on her necklace.
my point was saying that like men are okay with experimenting sometimes with things that might seem feminine if there's a practical reason for it.
Right.
Yeah. So like, but you're absolutely right. It's like sometimes I'll shave my armpits and I'll think to myself, this will keep me from getting sweaty. I do it maybe twice and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is like, because it gets aggravating and irritating. And the fact that if he's keeping up with it, it's like, okay, you might be able to get away with saying I tried this and then giving up on it like me. But if this is part of his routine, it's like, that's just odd.
He says he has his upper arms too. And to me, it's just like, I don't know. It's just another weird, odd thing about him that we didn't know. But because his oversharing and all of that is now part of the lore of Aaron, he's just creepy. He's just creepy.
Wait, does he shave his forearms then too?
He said upper arms and armpits, but
I wonder if he goes all the way down now. All right, I'm going to stop wondering about his
know,
grooming
it's so
habits.
gross.
I know too much about it.
Well,
Hold on. I want to say one more thing about grooming habits. I do. Okay, now I'm going to tell you one practical reason to shave your upper arms. I'm heavily tattooed. And I shave mine just if I'm going to be like out, like wearing a tank top or something. It's like, I don't know. I don't want hair covering up my tattoos and making them weird. And because again, I am a hairy guy.
I'll give you that.
And so But why is he doing it?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The man, no, he doesn't.
He probably has a tramp stamp as a target.
He's too much of a bitch. He's too much. He's too much of a bitch. He would never get a tattoo.
Oh,
Jackie,
God.
this is the same guy that says that sunflowers hurt his belly and popcorn hurts. He's a bitch. He would never get a tattoo.
I can't eat popcorn. I get bloated the next
That's
day.
what he
is what he says.
That's what he says.
I know. I know. Yeah.
I swear to you, he's
just too much.
He's too much of a bitch to ever get a tattoo. So I don't know what his reasoning is. I just think it's weird.
That tramp stamp's not going to do well in prison.
Oh, they'll love it. They'll be like, "Come here, girl."
Hey, there's so
Probably
many
walk around
favors.
with his shirt up in the back so that people know.
Will they rename him Sharon or Karen? Which one? I don't know.
That's a good one. They're going to sneak in lipstick for him to wear. Ugh.
Hey, get these Takis, girl. Come here. Hey, Karen, or it'd probably be Sharon. Hey,
Hold
Sharon.
on. You know what? That's all right. That's something I'm going to ask Gummy to make. I'm gonna have him make an image of Aaron feminized in prison, like from Oz.
Yes.
My God.
But they got to use the Taki or like some kind of candy, like a Jolly Rancher or something for the red lips. All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, I can do this all day.
I gotta get serious.
I love those Scared Straight programs. Have you ever seen that?
I do too.
That famous one with the Kool-Aid. My sister and I always if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this guy. There used to be a show about Scared Straight, and this guy goes up to this kid who's in the program. The kid might be 15, and this guy's like, put this Kool-Aid on your lip. and the kid just does it because he's like terrified and scared. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
I know about
that.
It's okay. Yeah. So it's a pretty viral moment. So the kid just does it and puts it on it, and then this big black inmate is just like, yeah, now I'm gonna kiss you.
Oh no!
and this kid just looks terrified, and he goes,
"Oh my God!"
And then you see that the Kool-Aid is orange flavored. He goes, "Yeah, you orange flavored motherfucker." And so it's just meant to scare the kid. My sister and I randomly will like text each other or just say, "What's up, you orange flavored motherfucker?" Anyway,
now I'll look it up. I'm gonna look
now
it up.
think of that. Man. Now think of that as Aaron.
Yeah, I mean Sharon. I think
Sharon.
His inmate name should be Sharon, and then his regular bitch made name out here where he bitches and like snitches on people is Karen. So there's the Karen, the Aaron, and the Sharon.
Man, prison's gonna be so bad, so awful. Oh,
he's earned every minute of it. If so.
Oh, that's terrible.
All right, now
that's really funny.
He's a gay snitch in prison.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
A gay snitch in prison with a tramp stamp.
Oh. I mean, you couldn't write this stuff, right? It's just too good. It's too good.
Man.
All right. I'll hush.
God.
I'm gonna be good.
I'm crying.
This should be a new show. Just imagining prison. All right. Now today I'd like to talk about yard time.
That'd be funny too.
Oh boy. If you guys bring me back, let's just make the whole show imagining prison for Aaron.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I know, right?
I'll even do it drunk. I'll come on drunk. I'll get real stupid.
All right. Bet.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I think I found it.
Did you?
Yeah, are we allowed to play this?
What is it?
Somebody hold on, let me send it to Jackie. This is while we're on the topic.
Here,
24 seconds.
Maybe the audio. I probably wouldn't play the video. You might get a strike for it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Never mind. Everybody go watch it at home.
Put a link on it or something like that. It's hilarious. It's a pretty popular moment. Yeah.
We'll put the link in the description.
All right, I'll put it under Luigi's.
Yeah, right. That's fine.
Oh,
I don't mind being associated with it.
All right. Orange flavored motherfucker. That makes sense.
Oh my
God.
God.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm gonna focus.
All right, getting back into this.
Yes.
So his description of the effect that the harassment has upon Aaron's safety, security, and privacy.
Right.
I just want to point out that Mersh was like, now forevermore, it will be documented that Patrick Melton scares the shit out of Aaron.
I love that.
And there's no two ways about it. Like Aaron is going to talk his way out of that and say, no, it's not what I meant. But
Right.
Whatever. No. If you are in fact trying to meet the legal definition of harassment in the state of Minnesota, you have to admit you are a scared little bitch.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I was talking about right here. You got it up. He has repeatedly discussed my genitals in great detail on his internet streams and seems okay. So let's just stop at that. First of all, that's not against the law. You can do that, especially when Patrick has never actually seen Aaron's genitals.
But hold on though, just in I guess Patrick's defense, Nick is the one who has seen his genitals, and he's the one that came on describing his genitals in great detail, not Patrick.
Guess what?
He actually didn't describe them in great detail. Is that someone had guessed and he had confirmed the detail.
And even all of that, that's not against the law.
No,
That would not make a reasonable person scared of their safety, security, or privacy. Guess what?
Yes,
you know what? I'm gonna admit something to y'all. I'm gonna admit something.
Okay.
This is a very private thing.
All right, we won't tell anybody.
Okay. I've seen Pamela Anderson naked. It was in a video, and she was naked. I get to talk about it as much as I want because I saw it. At no point will Pamela Anderson say that I am causing her fear for her safety, security, or privacy.
Yes, but Pamela Anderson does not have a crooked button. So,
I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, I get that he's implying here that there's some sort of collusion between Nick and Patrick. I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, he doesn't say this about Nick Rekieta. He's saying the guy who has not seen my genitals is talking about my... Okay, so let's say that Nick told him something. Let's say Nick drew him a picture. It still does not rise to the level of harassment for Patrick to talk about it, because at no point should it, to a reasonable person, make them fear for their safety, security, or privacy. That is so stupid. Now, here's where he gets even more stupid, is when he goes on. And if we haven't learned anything, we've learned words are not Aaron's friend. Seems genuinely enthralled with my sex organs and sex life. Again, not a violation of any law.
right.
And Aaron is the one who no one would have been talking about his sex life in great detail if he wasn't the one who had brought it up first.
And guess what else he did? You're absolutely right, by the way. Guess what else he did? He sent a picture of a naked woman that he had a sexual encounter with while on the air of his show. So, who has generated this quote unquote interest or being enthralled with sex organs? Even if it's true, we still haven't even established that this is actually a fact or true. But if it was, who started this? It was Aaron. And now here's the part where I literally read this and it just made my head explode.
Okay.
I don't know if he has sexual fixations on just my daughter or myself or anyone else in my family, but he certainly seems fixated on me sexually as well as my minor daughter. First, okay, there's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
One being, what do you base that on? Because it's really not even making a statement. It's simply saying, I don't know if if a hot dog should be considered a sandwich.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
it's so incredibly not an accusation. It
Yeah.
is him simply saying, I don't know. Aaron, I'm going to guess there's a lot of things you don't know, but it shouldn't be included in this.
Yeah.
And that is not any sort of accusation of harassment to say, you know, I just don't know. I'm going to point a finger at this guy and say he should be held liable to the law. But I don't know what he's guilty of.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, was this a horrible, horrible mistake to put in this application? This is where you put the evidence. This is where you put the specific examples. But what did you put in here, Aaron? You put maybe.
But I feel like that was on purpose to just put it on record. I feel like he
Yeah.
knew that this was going to be thrown away, and he knew that it wouldn't matter one way or another. But I think he just wanted it on the record.
And again, it's buzzwords. He's trying to use these finger pointing, knife twisting buzzwords to just simply associate someone with something. Okay, but here's what's crazy is if Patrick really wanted to be an asshole, maybe a little later, not necessarily here. But if Patrick really wanted to be an asshole, he might say, what were you trying to say? Without any evidence. You're trying to say I'm a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
That might open you up to a civil case from me. So maybe. I don't know. We'll see if that really rises to the level of any kind of defamation or anything like that. It probably doesn't, I'll be honest. But it shouldn't stop Patrick from providing evidence that better evidence than Aaron's provided against him.
Yeah, no, Patrick has had someone working on a spreadsheet for the last year plus.
Good.
Of all the time.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. He's fine, but it's just not the timing, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying my point here is that Aaron's arguments are weak, but if someone really wanted to, you know, point the finger in the proper direction, it would be that Aaron is really the aggressor.
Yes.
Of so much of the things that he is projecting onto other people. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Documented. It's not like this stuff is hidden. It is stuff where people can go look it up and find it. It's amazing.
Well, but it's also internet back and forth with people.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
which
so
some might just consider nonsense. Yeah.
Right. It's just them going back and forth. And now he's taken it to this degree of lawfare when it comes to Patrick because
it's his enemy.
No, narcissistic injury, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Patrick hurt him.
Yeah.
He just wants to hurt someone the way that he's been hurt. I mean, I guess that's really it.
Yeah. He goes on. I mean, he does have a link in here though about Patrick talking about his daughter in there. He says that he seems to have a psychological problem and he believes that we're in some sort of relationship. He believes that we know each other and that he's entitled to information on my life and my family. I thought that was right. He also goes more into, he's also received stolen Google data from Nick Rekieta, who accessed my Google account without my permission.
He's going to have to prove that. He's going to have to prove it. If he's going to say that, he has to prove it. How do you think he's going to prove that?
With screenshots of Patrick being like, hey, I got information on Aaron's Google history.
But no, Cash is involved, Jackie. So, I mean, obviously, Cash Patel will be called to the stand.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be handled. The FBI's been on it. And FBI.
This is crazy.
Hold on.
That's what he
actually,
said.
I'm glad you actually brought that up because this is something that he's been talking about a lot. So if that is true, right, he would have to bring that evidence into court to say, hey, listen, this is actually true. And I've actually filed a report on it. Here you go. And ipso facto, you would have put that report in this if it was true.
Right. You would reference it. You would be in case number, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you?
And here is the conclusion that was drawn based on based on that action. There was a conclusion drawn as to whether or not it happened, or whether or not there is evidence to suggest blah 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 blah.
Even if it's ongoing.
Even if it's ongoing, but
it's in the same county in which he lives in, which is Stearns County. So you would think he's all buddy with the police over there. He talks about how they're yucking it up all the time. So you would think he'd say, officer so-and-so is the person who took my statement for this illegal hacking of my Google account.
God, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
And also, and another thing, I'm sorry to go back to it. That statement about he believes we're in a relationship. Guess what else you don't get to do? You don't get to make claims about what other people think and try to say that that's evidence.
Right.
That's just not. You don't get to do that. I can't say this guy's thinking about me all the time.
Right.
Because you can't prove that. That is not a provable thing.
Now, if you said that he's in love with me and thinks we're in a relationship, and you provide like one of those weird serial killer letters that he had sent to you, that's a different story.
Or, we had a sexual relationship in the past, and therefore, this person was in my life and they can't get out. Very different. But you don't get to just say what someone's thinking and then just write it down and say, I said it, therefore it's true. And a judge is going to believe that I can read minds. But this guy seems to think that.
Right. Oh, you brought that up, and I have to find it real quick because it's bothering me. Because when it talks about the relationship, okay, in Nick's filing of from Aaron, there was something in there. It was like, what was your relationship with the respondent or whatever? And it said married. I swear I saw it, but I think it's one of the papers that I may have.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what? They're saying that Aaron was married
to Nick? Yeah, her. This is how I read it. Okay. Okay.
Oh man, my theory
right
is
there at
getting,
the bottom.
Yeah.
My theory is getting deeper and deeper now.
Hold on. All right.
No, girl.
No. All right. Never mind.
Okay.
That was one of the options he could have checked.
That would have been great, though.
I know. I saw it late last night, and I was just like, "Wait, what?"
Did y'all see the pic that Gummy posted of Nick and Nick and Aaron?
I saw one last night that if everything goes well on Wednesday, he's going to release, which is even better. So
that was even Rekieta thought it was great. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
that is funny. So like towards the end, he says much of the harassment and threats of Patrick has been for profit, publicity, online to pay his bills. If he does not do this, the small number of sycophants that have also become obsessed with my life will stop giving him money, and he may even become destitute. This harassment will continue towards myself and my children until he says children, why not child? If it was children, why didn't you put your other two in there? I'm just saying, until he is made to stop. I believe it is a compulsion at this point, and he could not stop himself if he tried. He is in too deep.
Oh my God. When a lawyer, you've heard people be in lawsuits. And like they're giving an interview and someone says, hey, can you comment on this? And they say, my lawyer tells me I shouldn't say anything. That is why. Now, let me tell you how this is going to get read. Most likely. Again, I can't tell the future. Oh my God. So much of the harassment and threats Patrick has been for profit, publicly online to pay his bills. Now, that would suggest that Patrick, I guess we've already made the establishment. I'm thinking about this from the standpoint of the judge. The judge is going to ask, explain, what does that mean? Right. So then Aaron's going to say, well, he's got a show. Okay. And he talks about the stuff for content on the show. And then the judge is going to say, what's the format or genre of this show? Well, it's a comedy show.
Right.
Oh, so it's a comedy show, and you're taking everything he's saying as literal fact. Well, no, Your Honor. Maybe not everything. Okay, is it safe to say that maybe there's a few things that this comedy show says that might be absurdist, surreal, hyperbolic?
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron is going to have to then say yes or no, meaning I believe every single word that Patrick says is complete fact and true, or okay, yeah, maybe some of the things he says are for comedic effect and maybe aren't totally sincere or true and might be a little absurd. And then the judge is going to say, well, what you said here is he's doing it as part of his show publicly.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line as to what's real and what's not? And Aaron's going to have to defend himself. So all that to simply say is that all Aaron really had to do in this situation was simply say, I think he talks about me in a bad way that makes me feel unsafe. That's it. That's all you got to say. But instead, he went on to use his words to say more and more and more and more to now completely disassemble his own argument to say, this guy's talking about me on a comedy show in an absurd way, but I still believe him. You know, he is completely self-destructing. I mean, his words aren't his friend. He shouldn't talk, period, let alone have a talk show.
No, and it's gotten him in so much trouble. But to your point about that with Patrick, this is the disclaimer that he has, at least currently. I think it may have been a little different in the past, but for months and months and months, this is what he puts on the beginning of every single show and every clip. Nobody likes, this is just like fair use act.
Sure.
But it says, Nobody Likes Onions is an entertainment program. Patrick Melton is not a lawyer, investment counselor, realtor, or professional advisor of any type. He's barely a podcaster and comedian. You have no professional relationship with him. You probably shouldn't listen to him about anything and just live your own life. Don't blame Nobody Likes Onions, Pantwise Media, or Patrick Melton for any actions or consequences undertaken as a result of this or any future or past production. Take that for what you mean it for. And then the rest is just like, legal stuff. But my point is that, to your point, it's like he's going to have to prove that he doesn't have an understanding of what Patrick's show is,
or reality, or what reality is.
That's too, obviously. But Patrick could argue and say, no, This is a disclaimer I have on every single show. People know not to take these things seriously, whatever.
I also shouldn't have to explain this to a grown man. that this is all absurdity and nonsense. That's a great point. And it's funny. That's really funny because I believe that there's enough on the surface for anyone to realize that Patrick's show is hyperbolic. It's not meant to be taken at face value. It's absurd and it's comedy. But for him to actually include a disclaimer and that now gives him something to hand to the judge and just say, well, judge, look, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you to listen to hours of my show and understand the context and tone. But can I show you one solitary single frame of my show to point out what the tone of my show is?
On his older, he had another one. I'm sure he's gone through many versions in the 20 years he's been doing it and however many years he's been on YouTube. But one of his older ones actually included a line that said something like, I'm a known liar. I lie about everything, basically don't take anything I'm saying for truth. I don't know. It's just like a little, a little twist in there where it's like, okay, well, you could argue. God.
Wow. It's really funny. I'm really starting to actually admire Patrick a little bit.
He's smart.
Like it's just funny. It's just funny that, oh man, like everything that happened with the Butch Bradley HRO and now this, it's just, wow, this is really funny. And and again, this is just step by step, everything that happened with Butch Bradley. And like, for Aaron to, I just realized, I want other people to realize, I want other people to realize that the path was laid out for Aaron and that someone fell into all the traps on that path. But Aaron just wasn't looking and took the same path that's going to fall into every single same trap again. And it's amazing because
while we were on here, I saved a couple of videos on the Butch Bradley case, including some of the court stuff
Oh.
and some that NLO went on for Jackie to watch later on her downtime, so she can get caught up on that.
I do want to get caught up on that because that's actually it's really interesting, and I want to see how that went because this is the first time like I've really looked into like a court cases like this, like actually going and reading all those documents that's outside of like, you know, like government stuff.
Right.
So, so this has just been really interesting. And in this, like, you know, Aaron's asking for, you know, 1,000 feet for him and his one child to be protected. He said the respondent should be barred from, okay, this is the biggest one. He wants to bar the respondent from online behaviors exhibited in this document and should not be mentioning myself or my family. So I think that's the crux of all of it, is that he just doesn't want Patrick being able to say anything about him.
The fact that Aaron equates that with harassment is so unbelievably juvenile and like really dumb. The fact that you are saying, okay, as adults typically know, harassment means stalking, threatening, telling someone you're going to kill them, showing up to their house. This fucking idiot is equating that with people talking about him and hurting his feelings.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's because the 2 HROs that have been placed against Aaron in the past, both from women, one from his ex-wife, and then of course the one with Kayla, both of those, they were granted that condition that you're not allowed to bring up their names or mention them directly or indirectly. And the judge said, yeah, that's for sure.
Oh
you have a broadcasting.
And the thing is with Kayla's, it was a release condition that he couldn't.
Right. It wasn't an HRO, but
it wasn't an HRO. It was a release condition from his revenge porn case.
He broke both.
Under such incredibly different circumstances with entirely different contexts. And I mean, again, I'm telling you, this is another bright, shining light on his narcissism.
Yes,
he thought, or seems to think, this happened to me, this should happen to my enemies.
Yes.
Because I didn't like it.
Yep.
The circumstances and situations under which this happened to you were so different. So incredibly different, because you did something very illegal and bad to which you were entitled to be punished. And you didn't shut the fuck up about it either. These guys are making a living goofing on you. That's it. These are jokes. These are goofs. These are fucking around, busting balls. And he is equating threats of violence, of murder, stalking, equating that with a couple of guys busting his balls.
And it's not something that he hasn't done himself either, or tried to,
or invited, or like, he's invited it.
Well, and what did he try doing? He tried, was it with Dark Side Phil? He was doing the back and forth with Chad Zumock. Like, so this is something that isn't out of his realm of being. I mean, shit, he was talking about going these back and forths that you guys don't understand. Radio guys, they go back and forth and do that. That's why whatever with Heather was such bullshit, because you know what radio guys do. It's stupid explanations like that.
I'm a shock jock.
A pussy. Yeah, he called Heather a pussy for responding the way that she did. You know, whenever he was going after her, he was like, "This is what we do." Like, what a pussy! And I'm like, what?
I mean, like, oh God, it's amazing. And again, everything highlights his narcissism. My rules are not the same for anyone except me. And my rules say I get to dish it out, but I don't have to take it because I'm special and I'm better than everyone and I don't deserve it because I am superior. So, nanny, nanny, boo boo.
Exactly. And What's wild in this HRO against Patrick, after everything that he had written down in little boxes and stuff that he checked, the only thing that the court found that could present like present danger of harassment, justified temporary relief in here is that he made an uninvited visit to the petitioner. But
that's talking about the court, right?
Yes, this is what the court said, that it was granted. This is the reason why it was granted, is because they said, okay, to meet this temporary relief, it's because, okay, he made uninvited visits to the petitioner, and that uninvited visit was him going to court.
And it was him.
Yeah.
But he was even invited to that.
And he was invited to that.
Yeah. But again, don't put too much faith in this as being an actual, judgment on the circumstances of the case. This is, this is the formality to separate, to hear the story, to hear, to give everyone opportunity to talk about it. But I have full faith and confidence that Patrick's lawyer is going to show up with a full argument as to why this is nonsense.
Oh yeah.
But it's amazing that literally what's going to happen here is that I have to just say, I really think the judge is just going to just be done with this and just be like, they've done nothing that rises to this level. What you, Aaron Imholte, are calling quote unquote harassment is not what I, as the judge, or what our legal system calls harassment. They are, they can continue to do what they've never, ever done to you, which is harass you. They've never done anything to harass you. They can continue with their lives and do what they do. Get out of my courtroom.
Right.
It's amazing. This is just crazy.
It is, and it's wild. And also in this temporary relief that was granted, it was granted for Aaron and for his child and stuff, but nothing in here talks about like he can't say anything about him online or anything. But that's
okay. Now that I think can be indicative of the outcome. That's interesting. If you follow me here.
Okay.
All right. This is really good. The judge is saying, I understand that you live in a different state and you've only had one arguable interaction in a physical in-person capacity with this petitioner, which was when you came to court, even though you never spoke to him, took a picture of him, said anything to him. Okay. Now, until we get down to the bottom of the facts and hear everything, I don't give a shit what you say about him online, which is all Aaron is asking for, is I want them to stop talking about me online. And the judge is simply saying, look, I agree he shouldn't be coming near you if you are, in fact, fearful of your safety and security and privacy. But he gets to say whatever he wants to say online about you. So I think that's a little telling.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All of this is wild. And I saw it. I was like, all of this is just wild and insane. But so I had it in. I just wanted to show real quick. It was just that Patrick was served it on the 2nd of July, and oh my Lord, and that his court hearing is on the 23rd, which is today when you're listening to this at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Minnesota Central Standard Time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And this is Patrick's. Nick's will be heard 30 minutes after this, right? 2 o'clock.
That's what.
Oh, Aaron, you're going to have such a bad day.
It's going to be a bad day. Ugh.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
so I'm wondering, is he going to do a night show that night? Like, what's going to
it's
happen?
gonna be like this last one when he was at a sentencing hearing and he got locked up and he came out and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do a show tonight. I don't think y'all. Sorry."
Yeah, I think you're just.
And then the
gonna-
next day talking about his girlfriend had sex with him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
You want
Oh,
to talk
I
about
hate-
how trying to like it's ego. It's like you were saying, every little thing that is said, done, that's come out, it really does keep pushing me towards the whole narcissist thing.
I
We're
mean-
not clinicians or psychologists or whatever, but from the different things that we have researched and we've presented, and we keep, because I continuously watch stuff on narcissism all the time because I just think it's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
interesting. And just as time goes on and I see the different reactions to different things, like him talking about his sexual bravado or whatever after what happened in court the day before, it's like, of
Yeah.
course he did, because he needed that kind of like boost,
It was
But-
a
to
win.
his ego.
That is that thing about, I've just never forgot that thing about talking about him him having sex with his girlfriend the day of court stuck out to me, maybe for a different reason, but again, talking about the gay thing, he really overcompensates
Yes.
what he perceives to be masculine
Yes.
elements.
Mhm.
Oh,
And it just doesn't come off as sincere. It doesn't come off as genuine or real. And so, God, I mean, this is not how men talk. I guess, like a guy, I've never met a man who said, "Hey, you know what? My girlfriend had sex with me." Yeah, I would assume so. Like, I would expect that to happen.
it's like he flipped through like a GQ magazine when he was a teenager or something and picked out,
Yes.
okay, this is what a man is supposed to be. Got
And
it.
like I was saying about an alien wearing a human outfit,
Mhm.
that lizard alien underneath that human skin is a woman. And the woman is saying, this is how human men talk.
Yeah.
We talk about our sexual bravado. I trying to learn boxing because that's what men do. And I drink whiskey. That's what men do.
Yep.
I don't know a fucking person in my life, and believe me, we all enjoy whiskey, who has to brag about drinking whiskey.
Yeah,
Not
any of
one of us. And like,
Yeah.
I like when he says stuff like that, I'm like, my mind immediately goes to, who are you trying to impress with your masculinity? And
Exactly.
it might be the world. You never know. It might be himself. That's who I
That's
really
his
think.
facade. What if that's his whole facade? Like, my addiction is creating a facade. Da, 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 da. I don't know. It's just what if it is the female alien, dude? What if it is?
My addiction is creating a facade to act like a man.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What if it's the female alien for real?
I mean,
Imagine
it's-
having movie skin. Imagine like actually being a female alien and choosing that body. I want that one.
Oh man.
Ooh, poor thing.
she's here on a mission to do research for her home planet, and she's not doing a good job
No.
blending in with
Oh,
other
my.
with other human men.
Nope. That's funny. That's gonna stick with me because it's so true. It's a
I
good
mean,
thought.
just
Oh.
look, both of y'all you both said you're married, you have husbands.
Mhm.
Think of your husband, like put Aaron's words into your husband's mouth
Don't
and
do it.
think about how odd it would sound. How just unusual it would probably, I don't know your husband's, but I'm going to guess it'd probably sound weird and unusual, and you'd wonder what's wrong with you.
It makes me wonder what the hell is wrong with SP, his current girlfriend. It's for real, because it's like,
Yeah.
yes, to your point, when I try to put myself in that position, I'm automatically like, "Pfft, not my husband, or you're just like, how I don't know a woman that would put up with that for any of it. The way he talks about other women on the show, the way that he's just him in general. I don't know.
How
any
about
woman that would do
how about your husband being on a radio show calling you slam piece?
it. Never.
I know.
I mean,
They
like,
would never. No.
That's not enough of a disgusting thing to do. Like
That's what I mean. Like if Erin's twisted, what's wrong with her? Anyway, I'm not going to talk about her. She's a private person, but I meant what I said.
I know.
But no, we're talking about Aaron's relationship with her and his interaction with her. That's weird. It's just odd. Just odd. Everything about it's just odd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's an odd bird. Everything around him is just not normal. Well, and also I would actually want to point out one thing though too about Melton's HROs, and then I'm going to bring up his quickly his reaction to it actually getting out there, because I don't know if you know this, that it coming out that Melton had an HRO put out against him didn't come out until like what, 10 days, 8 days, 9 days
later. Well, he fought it on the 1st, and then he finally said something. He sort of said something on the 9th, and then it came out for sure that we got it on the 11th.
Yes, but Patrick wasn't the one that brought it up. No. It was Aaron who brought it up.
He hinted at it on the 9th. That's what I was saying. Right. And then on the 11th, he finally just couldn't stand it anymore and was like, oh.
And that's what's really interesting is that it wasn't because Nick was the one that brought it up when his HRO happened. Mm-hmm. He like immediately took pictures like, what the fuck's this shit? Yeah. Patrick, on the other hand, didn't say boo. And it was almost like it was eating at Aaron. And it didn't actually come out fully until I think it was like, like the 10th or the 9th or 10th of July. So this was 9 days after he had filed it, that he was like, Patrick sniping me. Oh, that's a violation. Oh, for those who don't know, Patrick is violating an HRO that I had got against him. And
no, he's not.
Child. Right. And,
but I remember hearing that, and I remember the thing that stood out to me the most was how bad of a liar it was when he said, send me those timestamps. Yes, and I will forward these. Thank you for sending me. It's like, okay, that was not a sincere thank you, and it totally sounded forced and fake. Thank you for sending me. I'm going to send these, which is just his own veiled threat. But God, I mean, I wish I knew what the reasoning was for that, other than Patrick probably just not wanting to, probably not wanting to give Aaron a win, because Aaron did seem oddly proud of being a little crybaby snitch.
I think it, honest to God, I really do think it was to mess with Aaron. It's and also too, it's nobody's business. Like,
that's true.
It's not like whatever happens in your life, you're obligated to tell everybody else on the internet. So it's like, so Patrick not saying anything about it. I mean, it is a big thing, like someone filing a suit against you. It is. And him sitting on it and not saying anything is it had to have killed Aaron, because he's not as reactionary to things as Nick is, where Nick, like we said, he just right out the gate was like, and Aaron got that instant gratification knowing that it bothered Nick right then and there. And with Patrick, he couldn't get any of that because he didn't say anything. So Patrick he had to be the one. Yes. He forced Aaron to be the one to bring it out.
I love it.
It's, I guess now that you're saying it is making sense, and it's kind of coming together. That is funny, because especially from what y'all were talking about in this little piggy, Aaron would have reveled in knowing that he got to Patrick personally. Like
Patrick was squirming.
That Patrick was squirming or complaining or bothered. Yeah. That's really funny. Okay, now it's making sense, is that he was waiting for that reaction from Patrick, for Patrick to say, what the fuck is this? Or what's going on? He was just sitting around wanting to know that he was going to count that as a win and say, ha ha ha, Patrick is bothered by me now. Yeah. And then when he's like probably tuning in and watching, has he mentioned me yet? Has he mentioned me yet? Has he mentioned me yet? And it never comes. That's funny. And you know what? That's how you fuck with a narcissist, is do not ever let them know that you're thinking about something they did or something they said, or that you even look, I've grown up with narcissists in my family. I'm a lawyer. I deal with narcissists on a very regular basis. I know how to fuck with narcissists. And the first thing you do is never, ever let them even think that you know they exist. Yeah. And if you really want to cut one straight to the heart, you just act unbothered by them. And that's really funny. So I always did kind of wonder what Patrick's motivation was for doing that. But that, I think you cleared it up. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's I thought it was fun. It was very telling that it was Aaron the one that had to bring it up and not Patrick.
That hat. Move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Movie.
Wow.
You know,
funny.
it's everything is intentional, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is him just his quick response. I was just gonna play 2 minutes of it real quick. And he talks about a little bit about the Minnesota files, but I think I'll skip that part. But here we go.
I don't have to shut up about Aaron Imholte. Look, I just said it. I'm not prohibited from reviewing Aaron Imholte's program or talking about him. He's a public figure. It is out of an abundance of caution that I've removed myself from this little piggy for the next 2 weeks. And steel toe coverage will be limited, but I doubt we'll be able to get rid of it completely for the next week or so, week and a half, until my hearing on the 23rd, when we can hopefully, as Ray would say, get this squashed. Get this squashed. It's just smart. It's just smart to do. You know, I have a guy who's lied completely. He's not afraid to lie. He's not afraid to perjure himself. He's not afraid to make up feelings and events and use those to get a restraining order. And he's not above lying to report a violation of that restraining order. So whether or not it's right or wrong, whether or not I violate or not, whether or not it's found to be a violation or not, I have the potential to be arrested at any given moment until this HRO is gone. I don't know about you. That's not, Aaron can live like that for a year. Aaron's going to live like that for 2 more years, probably after October. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not a person who likes jail hanging over my head. So I'm going to be careful and I'm going to be cautious. And I'm in contact with my lawyer several times a day about what I can say and can't say and how to say it. And that's just a fact. So that's what's going on with the Minnesota files. They're just going to be held. They are going to be held until after the hearing. I'm sorry. I don't need to give this guy any ammo to manufacture harassment.
Okay. So that was his response to part of his response to everything that's going on with that. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that or not, but it's because quickly after this came out, of Patrick's HRO came out, everyone got, to see, we read it and everything. Not long after is when Nick and Patrick, Nick had called Patrick to tell him about the settlement that he was contacted about a potential settlement with Aaron. Now we don't know the full terms of what that settlement offer was or anything like that, but we do know that Nick said, fuck right out of here. Get out of here with that mess. Yeah. So now the new thing that has popped up is the witness list for this case. Do I get it here?
That's a weird one. And by the way, to speculate a little bit and pure speculation on what that settlement offer was, I'm going to guess and maybe we'll get some details later, that call was an invitation to settle, meaning,
Gotcha.
hey, what can we do to get this? And my point is just simply say, I don't think there was a real offer. I think it was can we talk about this? And they said no, which was the right answer, because I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, just that whole thing is so bizarre. I don't even know what offer could have been made. You're allowed to negotiate that sort of thing, of course, but it just is so incredibly odd. Yes, the petitioner of an HRO contacts the alleged offenders of harassment and says, I did this, make me an offer to make it go away.
Right.
Why?
It sounds like blackmail.
Blackmail, but also desperation.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's really what I think it came down to, is desperation. It was a call from the lawyer, and the lawyer probably just was very professional and said, look, I represent him. What can we do?
Yeah, and they're like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and they're like, nothing. And the lawyer's like, yeah, I didn't think so. All right, later.
Basically.
Yeah, so now we have this. So actually, this is the witness list for Patrick's case, it says. And it's been inklings have been going around that it's like basically a copy paste for both of them. It's like everything's the same for Nick's is the same for Patrick's. So they have Ashley, which is Aaron's ex-wife, and Anne, who is SP, Aaron's current girlfriend. But then it says any and all witnesses named by respondent. Does that mean that there could
anybody
be
they
more?
can call? That means anybody that Patrick or Nick decides to bring up as
the
a witness.
respondent. Okay, yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right. And then Aaron needs to be on the witness stand as well as the respondent, which would be Patrick in this situation.
Just that they're available to talk, right?
Right.
Like they could be called.
Yeah, and it's in the judge's discretion whether or not he even wants it to go this far. There's a possibility he hears the initial story and is like, no. We're done. Yeah, and I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. It's in the judge's power to do that. Right. But I really do wish, to some extent, that I had some sort of fly on the wall knowledge of what Aaron's intentions are. Like I realize it's not going to make sense. I realize it's not going to be successful, and I realize it's probably going to be absurd.
Right.
But I really would like to hear a sincere explanation from him to just, hey, dude, what do you think's going to happen by calling your ex-wife and your girlfriend? What do you want them to say on that stand about you getting harassed? This whole thing is about you getting harassed, not them.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate with
please,
that then.
Because I don't get it.
So if I had to guess, now look, Ashley is his first wife. They have 3 kids together. She's the one that has the HRO out on him. It was up this past January, but he has a 90-day suspended sentence situation. Anyway, she, I think, is put on the witness list so that if it gets this far, she can attest to the damage it's done to the children, or at least the one child that's mentioned in the HRO with Patrick. And like, this is how this has affected our children, blah, 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 which I don't think it should or has, because they're not like watching and hello, they're not doing all these things, but that's my guess on that one. And then with SP, I think he's going to try to be, she's going to be the one to be like, I'm holding him and rocking him and, wiping his tears off and crying, while he cries. But it's like, no, you came out here and you were bragging about how you could not stop humping her. Like 6 days ago, he was talking about how he could not keep his hands off SP. My point is, like, that's not going to work either, because you're out here bragging all the time about, like,
Well, no, but here's the thing, though, that if, in all honesty, if he wants to win this or whatever, wouldn't it be you would have SP and Ashley on there to say, hey, ever since this started, we've seen significant changes in his behavior. He's using his personality online as a facade for the actual turmoil that is going on behind closed doors.
Yes, but Ashley wouldn't know that because she's not married to him other than what effect it has on the children. SP could. That's why I said like rocking her to sleep every night, you poor baby, all of that. But I don't like Ashley. I think that angle is just children. Because what else does he, I mean, other than them like, arranging to pick up the kids or something like I don't know though. They just had that camping weekend where they were hanging out. So I don't know.
My argument to that is and maybe it's just a practical matter to have them like in the batter's box or in the bullpen ready to testify, is that first we have to establish that there was harassing behavior taking place. Then we get to evaluate the effect it's had on people. But if we don't even make it that far, like, maybe it's just as a practical matter. He was like, let's just have them lined up to talk about it if we get that far.
Just in case.
Just in case, maybe. I guess we'll never know. But but let's just for a second say that Aaron is successful in convincing this judge that there was harassing behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we've already talked about it, but yeah, I am just curious, what would be the words that they say in defense of how it's affected Aaron? And it's not going to be good for his persona. It's going to be
it would equal
terrible.
More ego death. Like there's no way, keeping in line with like the whole narcissist part of it, it would be such an ego death on the repercussions of if anybody found out what he said or what was said about him, like I guess what is it, if there was like turmoil or whatever that one of
or just complaining. Let's just keep it at complaining. Like he's complaining about words being said about him to his girlfriend.
I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like this is the point you're trying to make was that he is going to make himself look terrible by saying or having a third party say, this guy won't stop bitching about people who are hurting his feelings.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it won't look good for this ego or this bravado of manlyhood that he's been trying to convey to his audience. And
that's exactly it. He's literally going to have to say,
I'm a bitch.
They hurt my feelings. I'm a bitch. I cried. Just oh God.
Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for him.
Maybe it's therapeutic.
maybe. I think this is the last clip that we have for today, but this actually pertains a little bit more towards Nick's HRO. And this is one of the clips that Moody had brought up on This Little Piggy. And it's Aaron talking about how he would beat Nick up. And this clip is significant, I believe, a lot more significant because it was literally a month before he had filed this HRO against Nick. So
landmines everywhere.
I know. All over.
All right. So this clip is from exactly 1 month to the day before Aaron files an HRO.
Who's that hot chick?
Oh, no.
$5 from Anonymous Fake Dono says, do you have an order of protection against Nick? His anger during his exchange with Kiki was concerning.
Look at that face.
I know.
If Nick
It's when he got the idea.
Showed his face anywhere near me, which he never would, I ain't going to be the one who's going to need protection if he tries to pull that shit. I ain't worried about Nick fucking Rekieta. Nick the Worm Rekieta. Like I said, if we wanted to save...
The only thing Carl is the Alex Jones defense. I'm playing a character.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me. I obviously I'm playing it up for the show, which you lose a lot of credibility when you have that defense. But what else is he going to be able to say after this?
It gets
better. I think it's better.
Theater class.
Hi. I do have to pause it real quick because I thought it was really funny when you're like, it gets better, and Moody's like, it gets worse.
I know. I was like, oh. I hate watching myself back though. This is weird.
I love Carl's response there. He's like, hold on.
With that
Hold on, y'all.
card, with that fight, in order to make it fair, round 1, no punching from me. Round 2, southpaw. If he can't get the job done by round 3, I'll put him out of his misery. I mean, he shows up in my fucking driveway. You don't think that I could make him part of the pavement if he tried some shit? I am not. You know, one of the wonderful things about knowing how to fight is you don't have to brag about knowing how to fight. you can let the reality do the talking. So no, order of protection, couple of things. I'm a public figure. You can pretty much say whatever you want about me. And that's, again, when your enemy's making mistakes, don't interrupt them. But like, I don't need protection from Nick Rekieta.
He's literally making a mistake right then.
A lot of
Thank you.
I don't need. Oh, is that what I just said? From Nick Rekieta.
Wow.
Oh, that's where I
don't
was.
know.
I thought it was you. Oh my lord! I thought it was like you talking on here, and I was like, "What are you saying?" But you know, you made a good point at the end. You're like,
Sorry.
"Yep, that's it. Done."
I don't even know what I said. Do it one more time. I'm sorry. I'm confused now.
Okay.
a lot of.
Thank you.
I don't need protection from Nick Rekieta.
Wow.
Wow.
Case
I'd like to say
closed.
you're welcome to Nick Rekieta for providing his entire defense case. My bill will be in the mail. I think you just
Okay, and that's all I had on there that I wanted to. Like, 'cause that was. I mean, that video itself is. I think it needs to be an exhibit.
I mean,
For
well,
sure.
absolutely, and but I feel like that should be like the last nuclear bomb they drop on him.
Yeah.
I mean, just let him squirm, let him explain himself, and then when he fails, then drop that on him. But that if he's so cringy and gross and weird, like literally, if cringiness can make you sick to your stomach, he gives me cringe diarrhea.
Yeah.
Like it's just so gross and weird. I wouldn't need the one who needs protection. Fuck off.
I know.
Like, just so-
But I like how
ugh.
he put his hand on his hip like a woman when he said
Yes,
it.
yes.
He's like, "Girl, I want to be the one that you would need protection from
And then-
me."
And that
Yeah.
little eyebrow cock he does. I mean, that's straight out of RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, girl,
Yes.
he ain't got my boogie.
Sharon walks into the courtroom.
Yes.
It's Sharon instead of Aaron.
Oh my god.
That might be his best bet at this point.
Honestly, that's his best defense for sure.
Oh my. Ugh. That was amazing. And you know, yeah, I've told you guys I don't watch him. There's a reason why. But he just needs to stop talking.
Yeah.
Words are his worst enemy. And I mean, we've
That's
said a
his-
lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say he's his own worst enemy.
Yes.
It's
yes.
true. There's a lot of people though that have come out since the HROs have been served and are confused, surprised that they are pushing back on these and contesting the HROs, but they're leaving out the fact that no, Aaron was able to talk nonstop and legally said a lot of defamatory things, and it may very well go into civil court. But it's like, well, yeah, if the things that are in the HRO are provably false, why wouldn't they push back? Why would they not contest it? But it's just interesting to me to see the people that are like not offended, but are surprised that, Nick and Patrick plan to fight it. It's just weird.
Right.
Oh, I've not seen any. I mean, I guess I haven't been exposed to it.
They're there.
But I haven't seen anybody saying that it's odd for them to fight. Who wouldn't defend themselves against a harassment restraining order? Period. Take the context out of it. Who wouldn't?
Well,
But
Aaron, his
That's
first
true.
wow.
Aaron's first ex-wife
Yeah.
filed a harassment restraining order against him. He responded by saying that he does not believe that he believes what she's saying is false, but he is not going to fight it.
Interesting.
He knew.
Was it part of a divorce proceeding?
No.
This was well after he was divorced and already remarried.
He had gone on the show with April. There was a chatter that had sent something in that was talking about like basically offing her, and that like April was like, yeah, I'd be over there flicking my bean to it while she was being murdered. It was a bunch of really weird stuff. We've gone over the HRO several times, and I'm
Well,
over
okay.
here, but
Well, then that is probably in that situation, it was probably I don't want to have to repeat or relive any of this. Just give it to her because it's going to look bad for me. That might be a reason. Yeah.
Right. So Aaron didn't fight it. He knew. That's, I mean, to answer your question, like who doesn't? Well, when you're guilty and you know you're guilty, and that's the easiest way out. When that's the easiest pathway to like get everything to chill out and cool off, and you know you're guilty, then okay, sure. But with both of these, Aaron has to prove what his claims are in the HRO are legit and are valid and are something that, requires to be protected from. And it's like, dude, there's so many things in that you're not going to be able to prove. And they know that. So Patrick and Nick, I don't know, man, it's going to be interesting.
In addition, I mean, you're right. In addition to things he can't prove, even if he does prove them, they still don't meet the qualifications required to qualify as harassment. I mean, like this is layered stupidity. It's like, I mean, there's so many layers of stupidity. It's like he named a bunch of stuff that he didn't provide any evidence for. Okay, now you're given your opportunity to provide evidence. Okay, well, here's my evidence. Well, okay, now you provided evidence. This doesn't qualify as harassment. So I mean, like, this is so bad. It's so bad.
Let me ask you a question. You may not know this, and this we can sort of wrap this up in a nice tight bow, but I know that it's probably few and far between that people are found guilty for perjury or for falsifying documents. But I do wonder in a situation like this where, when there are elements of it that are provably false, before we even get to the point of it doesn't meet the criteria for harassment, when it's just like, no, this is provably false, this did not happen. Like, at what point is it something where the court says, hey, this is a lie and we're going to charge you for that? Or is it something where the respondent to the HRO says, I can prove that this is not true, and then I'm going to, like, how does that work out? Do you know? Or maybe it's different in Minnesota. I don't know. In
a very general sense, it's usually when there's a consequence of it. Meaning, like, let's say you're called to be a witness in a trial and you lie about something that makes a jury have a very different opinion as to, the judgment of a case rather than what the truth was. Well, usually when there's a consequence is when you see a legal system step in, like a court step in and say, we need to press charges for perjury against this person. When it's someone in defense of themselves, it usually has to be pretty extraordinary and outrageous. But since so much of this is based on emotion and feeling and a subjective interpretation, it's most likely not going to get any sort of analysis into perjury. Unless he repeats this again, which, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not eliminating anything of stupidity as not happening in the future because, God, this guy's dumb. There's no telling. But let's just say a year from now, he tries this again and says, oh, okay, well, now they're doing, this same stuff that I tried to get an HRO against them for. Well, at that point, the court might say, listen, you got to stop this, or already knowing that this does not rise to the level, you've learned your lesson that this does not rise to the level of harassment, and you're making the same accusations, you now know that you're wasting the court's time.
Right.
That might be where a situation arises. But again, it's speculative. It would need context. That's just one example of maybe several examples. And also, just perjury isn't something people really that a court really goes after unless they're really trying to make a point and make an example out of someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That would make a point. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I don't know to make a point with him, but a reasonable person, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Man, this guy's dumb. Oh, wait. Let's do a recap.
Yep.
Aaron Imholte is dumb.
Yep.
Illiterate.
Yep.
Whatever adjectives we're going to throw in here, but pussy snitch, baby.
Hurt feelings.
Yeah. Gay.
I
Let's just throw dumb in again.
Okay, let's just. All right, there we go.
He's a character, all right.
That is
unable to learn. That's a good one. Because, man, he has had a lot of opportunities to learn lessons from this situation, past situations, his divorce. Jesus Christ, this guy does not learn. He cannot fucking learn. That is really...
It's also can be a trait in narcissism, is being uncoachable.
Yes. And I mean... God, I mean, you're right. Absolutely. And we have so many examples. Again, like I was saying about the Butch Bradley thing, a path was laid out for this. There is an example out there, and you still fell into every trap along the way to repeat this behavior. But if you just think about Aaron's past experiences with the law, he had warnings, he had guidelines, he had things. All you got to do is listen and know what you're not supposed to do and don't fucking talk about it. That's it.
Yep.
Most adults can follow those instructions.
Uh-huh.
Not him, though.
No, not at all. Oh, man. We really appreciate you just coming and hanging out with us. This was
I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
This was a great time. I'm never going to look at Kool-Aid the same way again.
Me either. Me either. I love it. It's great.
So definitely we'll be working on, maybe we'll work on a comic book series of Aaron's time in prison. You know?
Count me in.
The Adventures of Sharon.
The Adventures of Sharon.
Yes.
I like it.
I'll work on the title.
Made in jail. Like,
oh, hey.
Hey,
can I have your apple
inmate.
juice? Hey, give me that apple juice.
Yeah.
Your one.
Oh, man. How to make friends.
Yep.
Anyway. So
how to make friends as a gay snitch in prison.
God help it.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
Oh boy.
My God. Well, promote yourself. Where is it that people can find you?
LuigiGreenberg.com. My YouTube channel is at Luigi Greenberg. And I have a show on Fridays called Skeptical Robot. This upcoming Friday, we are going to have Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee and Trucker Andy on to discuss Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. My show is all about logic and reason in exposing frauds, liars, con men, and debunking the paranormal. And I also host a show with them once a month called Edge Files, in which we do the last Monday of every month. We do an interesting topic that covers a lot of weird stuff, weird true stuff like true crime, cults, unsolved mysteries. And I am going to be covering the very, very strange case of Karl von Tanzler. Please check it out. If you don't know the true crime story behind that, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Also, the following Friday, Carl Hamburger from Who Are These Podcasts is going to be on. He canceled on me this past Friday. I think the world knows now.
You went to Primus instead.
I couldn't blame him. I'm a big Primus
I know.
fan. I love
It's
Primus.
a cool man. Have a good time.
Yeah, I was like, you better send me pictures.
Right.
And I also on Sundays I host Unboxing Eric on Hack Right Studios channel, and on Thursdays I do Unboxing Riley Martin and Unboxing Bigfoot. It is for fans of Howard Stern who like reliving some of the Whack Packers. And yeah, check me out. Skeptical Robot. I co-host a show with Corn Diff and Gummy Chainsaw, and we have a lot of ridiculous fun talking about frauds, con men, and people who are out there trying to steal your money.
Nice.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much again. And for everybody else, we will see you next time.
On the other side of this hearing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's pretty antisocial. Open up the mind. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. The The world of the internet is crazy sometimes, so watch what you're doing when you do it online. It's pretty antisocial, open up the mind. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. The world of the internet is crazy sometimes, so watch what you're doing when you do it online. It's pretty antisocial, social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial, social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial, social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find. It's pretty antisocial, social. Ain't no really ever telling what they gonna find.